Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stan Boss Stadium in Youngstown, Ohio, where the number 19 Youngstown State Penguins are getting ready to host the Indiana State Sycamores in Missouri Valley Football Conference action. Today, we have an intriguing matchup in the MVFC with one team needing a victory to remain alive in the hunt for an FCS playoff berth, and another looking to play spoiler and pull off its second upset of a ranked opponent here in the month of November. My name is Dre Smith. Welcome inside, everybody, alongside my broadcast partner and former Youngstown State defensive end Kyle Searle. Kyle, great to be with you here today. Two teams in two different situations here this afternoon.
Yeah, like you said, Dre, we have one team looking for the playoffs and one team looking to play spoiler, and Indiana State is well coached.
Rashad Rochelle will be the primary playmaker for the Sycamores. The Rutgers transfer is one of the most dynamic players at receiver in the league. Kyle, what does he bring to the table?
Rochelle is a guy with great speed, upfield vision, and the ability to create missed tackles in the open field.
Indiana State is led by their head coach, ninth-year Kurt Mallory. 3-7 overall are the Sycamores, 1-5 in Missouri Valley Football Conference play after a loss at the hands of Illinois State last week. On the other side, Youngstown State's offense is powered by one of the leading candidates for the Walter Payton Award, junior dual threat quarterback Bo Brungard. What has he done to take his game to the next level this year, Kyle?
Bo has been completely composed behind center all season, and he takes what the defense gives him, whether it's with his legs or with his arms.
Brungard has run for over 1,000 yards while passing for over 2,400 as well. YSU is led by head coach Doug Phillips, now in his sixth season back in the Mahoning Valley. The Penguins are 6-4 overall, 3-3 in Missouri Valley Football Conference action. With 2 weeks remaining, they pick up a big win last week over Southern Illinois to keep their playoff hopes alive, as the Penguins and Sycamores ready to do battle here at Stan Boss Stadium this afternoon. As the Penguins look to remain alive, they're going to need 2 wins in the final 2 weeks to keep hopes alive of the playoffs, while Indiana State looking for their second upset of a ranked opponent as they took down South Dakota State on the road on November 1st. And we are getting ready to kick here at Stan Boss Stadium. Great to have everyone aboard for our game in Missouri Valley Football Conference action today. The Sycamores, always well coached, hard-nosed team under Kurt Mallory. The Penguins under Doug Phillips looking to get back to the FCS playoffs for the second time in the last 3 seasons. Flash Wilson is back deep for the Penguins, one of the most dynamic return men at the FCS level. He has almost 1,300 all-purpose yards this season, and he will come up to field it at the 5. Has a seam up the middle, and as we mentioned, one of the more dynamic return men in the country. Flash Wilson gets his team good field position to start the first drive of the ball game. Youngstown State will go to work, and of course it is Bo Brungard at the helm for the YSU offense. Brungard, the redshirt junior out of New Middletown, Ohio. Of course, the son of Youngstown State, former quarterback, 2-time national champion for the Penguins, Mark Brungard, as Bo now leading his hometown team. You see the numbers, over 2,400 yards passing, over 1,100 yards rushing, 357 yards a game. He is one of the top players, not just a quarterback, but overall players at the FCS level, and they'll spread it out. 1st and 10 as we open things up at Stan Boss Stadium. Brungard takes the snap, bounces upfield, and brought down on a decent gain, 1st down, and the Penguins will jump in to the offense, led by offensive coordinator Mike Yursich, who's in his first season here in Youngstown, and he has changed the program offensively for Youngstown State. Yursich, former OC at Oklahoma State, Penn State, Texas as well, has brought a different mentality here to this offense. Flash Wilson comes in motion for the Penguins, gets the handoff, and the Indiana State defense strings it out nicely. Good job there by the Sycamores to force a loss. We get a look at the play. Wilson drawing that little jet motion and coming up to make the play for Indiana State.
Alex Rose on the great misdirection, flowing nice with the play there.
Rose, a number of different players we'll see defensively for Indiana State. They have a lot of young players. Here's Brungard, swings it out, and the pass is well off the mark behind Jaden Gilbert. And Gilbert, who's been a receiving threat out of the backfield for the Penguins in addition to his running ability this year, unable to come up with that one that was off the mark. 4th down, and we'll see the Penguin punt unit on their opening drive of the game as the reigning FCS punter of the year Brendan Kilpatrick will come on to kick it away for the Penguins. Kilpatrick was a All-American a year ago, All-MVFC selection. Second team is who's the FCS punter of the year, as we mentioned, averaged 46 yards a kick. And one of the best return men, along with Flash Wilson, Rashad Rochelle, is back deep. Kilpatrick sends it away. Rochelle will let it bounce up ahead of him, and the Penguins will down it near the 20-yard line. And out for the first time today, we'll see the offense for Indiana State. And at quarterback for the Sycamores, we will get a look at Keegan Patterson, a redshirt junior, 6 foot, 195 pounds, out of Longmont, Colorado. He's thrown for over 900 yards, 7 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, completing 56% of his passes. Patterson has been pressed into the starting role after Indiana State's starting quarterback at the outset of the season, Elijah Owens, a captain, was lost for the year in the second game of this campaign. So Patterson will be at the controls. They're going to go design quarterback run on first down. Patterson all the way out near sideline, has some room, and Indiana State's going to have a nice pickup to open up their drive, and the Sycamores on the move here early. Nothing there at the start of the run for Keegan Patterson, but able to bounce outside, break contain, and get a nice pickup for the Sycamores. So some good early momentum here on the road. First down and 10 for ISU. Ball comes out near side, tipped in the air, and the Penguins nearly came up with that when Dathan Hickey was in the area, the senior safety. Some more red jerseys as well, so Indiana State lucky there to not have a turnover on that first down play. See Patterson, quick release, but knocked in the air. The Penguins nearly came up with it. So
that's all you can ask for as a defensive line on a quick throw like that. Get your hands up if you can't get pressure.
On 2nd and 10, they'll go right back to Patterson as he puts his head down up near midfield. And that'll bring up a 3rd down for the Sycamores. On the season, it's been a struggle on 3rd down for the Indiana State offense, converting under 29% of their 3rd down conversion attempts. And it has been, without Elijah Owens, it's been an up and down campaign offensively for the Sycamores, averaging under 21 points per game as a team, under 290 yards total offensively per game. Under the direction of first-year offensive coordinator John Baer, Patterson stands in the pocket on 3rd and 6. Pressure comes and down he goes. Mike Wells, who's been an impact player defensively this season for YSU, records his team-leading 6th sack of the campaign as he just spied the quarterback and just came running for Patterson and makes a play.
Yeah, he played that spy to perfection. You have 3-man rushing, and once that quarterback steps up into an escape lane, you have all signals go. Just go get him.
So the punt team now out for Indiana State. We get a look at one of the better punters in the Missouri Valley Football Conference, Harry Traum, Australian, who has been a 4-year starter at punter for Indiana State, sends it away. Max Tomczak lets it bounce inside the 10, and that's a great punt from Harry Traum, and a great job by the coverage unit to get down and pin the Penguins inside their own 5-yard line.
Immediate timeout on the field.
11:22 to go first quarter at Stambaugh Stadium. No score. A punt from each team on offense. We'll be back with more after this. Still in contention. We'll talk about that playoff race a little bit later as we move throughout our broadcast. Youngstown State, one of those teams in contention for a playoff berth, as they need 2 wins in the last 2 weeks of the regular season to stay alive. Got a big win last week over Southern Illinois. Now the Penguins, after a punt on their first drive, back to work, but pinned back. Handoff goes to Ethan Wright on the first play of the drive, and it's a modest gain as Indiana State stacks it up at the line. Ethan Wright with the carry, 6'1", 195-pound senior running back from Akron, Ohio. One of the 2 tailbacks that carry the primary workload with Bo Brungard in the run game and the pass game. Both have been impactful receivers out of the backfield as well. Jaden Gilbert, number 7, who we saw in the opening drive, and then Ethan Wright, who we see here wearing number 2 on the right hip of Bo Brungard on 2nd and 8. Penguin line today, some shuffling around once again. Some injuries have caused some changes up top. We'll talk about that here after this play. Up front for the Penguins, 2nd and 8. Ethan Wright again, good physical run as he keeps the legs moving and falls out past the 15-yard line. And that's going to be enough for a YSU first down.
Yeah, back-to-back plays north and south. Give your offense a little bit of breathing room coming out of the end zone there.
Offensive line that we talked about, some changes today. Desmiel Lee stays in at left tackle, the All-American, who's made 36 career starts now. He's in there at left tackle. Some changes otherwise. Got a new left guard in there today, some moving around. Here's Brungard, going to throw it on first down. Fires near side, and that's his favorite target, Max Tomczak, one of the top receivers in the FCS, making the catch. And another first down for the Penguin offense. Tomczak, the all-time leader in receptions at YSU. That there, reception number 208 of his career, the most in YSU history. Take a look at Youngstown State leading the Missouri Valley. Almost 459 total yards per game. Here's Brungard on first down. Sprints to his right, giving chase of the Sycamores. Pass on the run, complete. Hanging on to it after taking a hit was Luke Hensley, the senior who celebrated prior to the game. It's senior day here at YSU, as Hensley took some contact after the reception, but able to hang on.
And Luke had a couple nice grabs last week against Southern Ill to keep the chains moving.
1st and 10, Penguins in some tempo here. Brungard wants to go to the air again. This time it's Austin Bray, the tight end who's returned. Got injured in the 3rd game of the season. There was some thought he might be lost for the year, but Bray able to work his way back, and the Penguin fans happy to see the UT Martin transfer at tight end back in there here late in the season.
Absolutely, what a weapon Bray can be, creating mismatches in the secondary there.
Austin Bray, big 6'5+ tight end that can create some matchup problems for defenders. Brungard all alone in the shotgun, first down again for YSU. 8.5 to go, first quarter. Each team has punted on their first possession. Penguins with it for the 2nd time. Brungard drops, forced off of his spot. Here's where he's really dangerous. Gets outside, forced out of bounds by the cornerback Amon Glass. And he'll pick up a handful of yards before being pushed into the sideline. 2nd down, YSU.
And this is where Bo is dangerous, like we talked about. This is where he had a simple 4-man rush from Indiana State. He didn't do too much. There was an exit lane for him to get out of the pocket, and he just took what the defense gave him there.
You see Lee, we talked about at left tackle. Left guard today is Joseph Farah, who started at right guard previously. So he moves to left guard today as this handoff goes to Jaden Gilbert, and he will fight forward for positive yardage on 2nd down. And when into center is Van Keen, who has been the regular starting center the last couple of seasons. He's been out for some games with injury, so he's at center. At right guard today is Shane Keenan, who started at right guard a year ago, moved out to tackle for the majority of 2025. He's in at right guard, and then at right tackle, we see Nick Nielsen, who's moved into a regular starting spot, the sophomore, number 76 at right tackle. It's been a challenging year on both lines for the Penguins. A lot of injuries on the offensive and defensive lines. On 3rd and very short, Penguins go to Brungard. He hesitates, gets upfield, and it will be enough. Or will it be? We'll see. Yes, first down, YSU. So Brungard able to use his legs as he often does. Comes into this game 4th in the nation. And that's not just amongst quarterbacks, that's all players, with 1,145 rushing yards on the campaign. and has developed the passing game as well. Also top 13 in the nation in total passing yards and passing yards per game. 1st and 10. Brungard leads the YSU offense into Indiana State territory. He'll roll. Gonna fire deep. Looks toward the end zone, and it's gonna fall to the turf. Incomplete, as Hensley was the nearest receiver out there. Under 6.5 to go. The Penguins will face 2nd and 10. Brungard, as we talked about, the son of Mark Brungard, who was a quarterback here at Youngstown State from 1992 to 1995, helped the Gwins to 2 national titles under legendary head coach and former president here at YSU, Jim Tressel, in 1993 and 1994. And now his son, Bo, becoming one of the more decorated quarterbacks in YSU's history as well. And here he goes, right on cue. Uses his legs and speeds up inside the red zone, just outside. And the Penguins on the move here, looking to start the scoring in this Missouri Valley Football Conference game today in Youngstown.
You know, it's got to be so frustrating for a defense when you have protection breakdown like that. Bo breaks out of the pocket and just continues to just get some positive yards.
There's the numbers for Brungard coming into today. Gilbert in the backfield. He'll take the handoff on 1st down. Able to get upfield. Decent gain. Tackled on the play by the talented redshirt freshman from Terre Haute, Indiana, Nick Yatsko, who was named the Missouri Valley Football Conference Newcomer of the Week earlier this year when he had 14 tackles, a fumble recovery, and a forced fumble in that big upset win at South Dakota State back on November 1st. On 2nd down, after the run by Gilbert, Brungard will be in the pistol formation as Wright motions to his left hip. The handoff goes to the Cincinnati transfer, Ethan Wright, and he will carry defenders down near the 15-yard line. That'll move the chains. Penguins will reset the chains, and this has been a march for Youngstown State. They have possessed the football. That's one thing this offense had done well the last couple of seasons, is leading the FCS in time of possession each of the last 2 years. And this year, under Mike Yursich, the first-year offensive coordinator, the dynamic plays have started to really present themselves as well. So on what's officially 3rd and 1 as we...
False start, offense, number 59, 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
So Penguins will be backed up here. So a false start by Joe Safara, who's been the starting right guard, moved over to left guard today due to some injuries and musical chairs that often have to be played on the lines. And you get this late in a Missouri Valley Football Conference season, the attrition in this conference that is undoubtedly the toughest at the FCS level. You see Doug Phillips, who's trying to get his team back to the playoffs for the 2nd time in 3 years. Need a win today. Brungard on 3rd and 6 after the false start. Backed up the Penguins. Brungard somehow gets out of a crowd, throws out wide, and it goes off the hands of Fresh Walters, the intended receiver, and it was the talented safety Kamal Clark, the standout defender who was in coverage. Clark comes into today leading the Sycamores with 119 total tackles. He was the NEC Defensive Player of the Year last year at Central Connecticut State, and has continued to be an impact player after transferring to Indiana State. So the Penguins will now be forced to attempt a field goal. It'll be Andrew Lastovka, the junior place kicker. He's had some big moments in a Penguin uniform. 38-yard attempt as the Penguins look to get on the board first. Out of a hold of Kilpatrick, and Lastovka misfires as it goes wide to the left. And that's two straight misses for Lastovka, who's normally reliable. Keeps the score 0-0 here in Youngstown. We'll be back with more first quarter action after this.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like getting Bateman when you need the protection of Batman.
Easy, Batemobile, not too fast, baby.
Any last words? Just one. It's a long one. Dermatologist.
That's why you need the real deal.
Look out! That's Batman!
Go home, Bateman. Do a podcast or something. That's hurtful.
So don't settle for just any insurance when there's State Farm.
At Indiana State University, we're all in for you. So you can be all striving, all thriving, all achieving, all the time. Bring your hustle, your drive, and your ambitions. Match it all with opportunities that make your resume sing. Work on real-world projects as part of your degree. Find your people in a welcoming community. So, are you in?
Yeah. Let's go. We just gotta go hard. I go the hardest. I bring the pain. Not what you used to. It's all part of the game. Yeah, I just gotta go hard. I just gotta go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Yeah. Oh yeah, the beast back. Adrenaline pumping through my veins, can't relax. Original, I am not the same as these cats. I sting them if they never ever mindin' they beeswax. I don't ever cap, but I'm wearing like 3 hats. Never been a rat, but I know where the cheese at. You'll never get a trophy cause they all here where we at. You better believe that. Go hard.
Back live in Youngstown, Ohio. Stanboss Stadium, known as the Ice Castle, where normally reliable place kicker Andrew Lastovka unable to hit from 38 yards out. And then the Penguins unable to come up with points on a 14-play drive. On the other side, first play of Indiana State's drive, the ball is intercepted by Makai Shaid, the safety sophomore from Gahanna, Ohio, with his first interception of the season. And Keegan Patterson puts the Penguins in great position offensively off the turnover. Shaid, play action, little RPO look, and Shaid all over it, jumps the route that was intended for Brian Domino, the sophomore wide receiver. And Shaid, who came into this game second on YSU's defense with 55 tackles, makes an impact play for John Hainline, the defensive coordinator. And you see the Penguins celebrating the turnover, and now Bo Brungard and YSU's offense in great position just inside the 10-yard line. Penguins are +6 in turnover margin this season, something they did not do a year ago, was take the football away. They have been able to do it with their defense this season, and here a chance to take advantage. Brungard in his hands, and he will spin. Did he get in? They're going to signal touchdown on the field as Brungard was spun down near the goal line. As it stands, Youngstown State strikes first with under 4 minutes to go in the first quarter off the interception by Makai Shaid. Bo Brungard with his 19th rushing touchdown of the season. And the Penguins with a chance to go up 7-0. As Lastovka will have a chance to come on and add the extra point after missing the 38-yard field goal attempt after the Penguins marched 14 plays, 76 yards on a 7+ minute drive, but were unable to come up with anything to show for it. Shaid steps up defensively and gets YSU's 10th interception of the season. And now, Byron Floyd to snap. Brendan Kilpatrick holds. Lastovka right down the middle. 7-0, Youngstown State with 3:59 to go first quarter. Shaid with the interception. Brungard from 9 yards out puts the Penguins in front. We'll be back to Stanboss Stadium just a few. after an 8-yard touchdown run officially from quarterback Bo Brungard. Puts the Penguins in front after Mekhi Shaid intercepted a pass on Indiana State's the first play of their second offensive drive to set up the Penguins inside the 10. And Brungard goes into the end zone with the ensuing score. And the Penguins now in front. Wilkins kicks it away for the Penguins, and fair caught by B.J. Weiss, the redshirt sophomore, wide receiver on the return reception. So now back to work goes Patterson and the ISU offense. Indiana State drove near midfield just into YSU territory before having to punt on their opening drive, and then the turnover quickly cut drive number 2 short for the Sycamores. Kurt Mallory, the head coach for Indiana State, in his 9th season now. He was a 22-year veteran as an assistant in the coaching ranks. His father, Bill, is Indiana's all-time winningest coach. And here's an inside handoff, and bursting out of the pile for Indiana State is Dion Brown, and he will be tracked down all the way down at the YSU 30 by Dathan Hickey. But Dion Brown, the redshirt sophomore running back from St. Louis, Missouri, with a big play to get the Sycamore drive started. Offensive line for Indiana State gives Sonny Okunlola the left tackle, Griffin Howell the left guard, Drew Page the center, Jordan Solafafatu the right guard, and then Zach Simpson the right tackle. A lot of credit. They'll go back to the ground on first down. They go right back to Dion Brown. Why not after that run? And Kyle, there's a number of running backs for Indiana State. You see Nick Osho's had a really good year. Don't know if we'll see him today. 92 carries, over 500 yards, over 6 yards a carry. And then also Ples Lawrence has had a good career for the Sycamores.
Yeah, I would expect Indiana State to just kind of try and play north and south here.
And here's a short little throw on the rollout by Keegan Patterson. As the fake to Brown. Patterson nearly tracked down by Mike Wells, who was giving chase, able to get it out and complete it to Lance Reese, the tight end, the senior from Marshall, Illinois.
It was a good let go by Mike Wells, too, because that could have easily been a 15-yard horse collar on that.
Sets up 3rd and 3 for Indiana State as we move toward 2.5 to go in our first quarter. Sycamores trying to answer after a touchdown from Bo Brungard. Gives the Penguins the lead here in the opening period. On 3rd down, Patterson forced out of the pocket, now set, fires toward the end zone, going up, and I believe bringing it in on the contested catch is Rashad Rochelle. There's a marker as well. Rochelle made an unbelievable play on the ball. We will sort out the marker, but that's one of the best receivers in the Missouri Valley Football Conference, going up and making a great play.
The result of the play is an incomplete pass. Pass interference, defense, number 7. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
Okay, so just Rochelle unable to come up with it. It looked at first glance like in that fight for the ball that he might have been able to come up with it, but Wimpy was in coverage, I believe, for Youngstown State. Let's take a look, Patterson. Why not give your best receiver a chance in the end zone? You see Wimpy giving chase for YSU as the ball.
You know, from up here, it doesn't look incomplete.
I was wondering,
you know,
I never saw the ball. That was a great look by our crew, as it was tough to see, but on the field, it's incomplete. The penalty goes against YSU, so it sets up Indiana State anyway at the 10-yard line. First down, Patterson, misdirection, tosses it out underhand to Rochelle, and Rochelle will find the end zone for Indiana State as the impact senior receiver from Springfield, Illinois, continues to be one of the top threats in the Missouri Valley Football Conference week in, week out. As he's in the end zone again, Sycamores can tie it with an extra point.
Here you have a read option, and then you're rolling out and turns into a speed option, and you got to be disciplined on those on defense.
Rochelle, creative ways for John Baer, the first-year offensive coordinator for Indiana State, to get him the football. He's such a playmaker, whether it's in the return game, run game, obviously the receiving game. And this extra point is mishit by the place kicker, Sebastian Lopez, as he did not get a clean look at that one. And it goes wide. And we will, so the Lead will remain with YSU after the missed extra point. So it'll be 7-6 Penguins. We'll get a look at the creative play design from the Sycamore offense and the score by Rochelle. As you see the senior come in front of Patterson, who just gives it out to him, and Rochelle does the rest all the way to the end zone. Rochelle came into this game leading the Sycamores with 33 catches, 519 yards, 5 touchdowns receiving. He was a honorable mention All Missouri Valley Football Conference selection a year ago, as well as a member of the all newcomer team in the Valley. And there it is, most all-purpose yards per game. It's really impressive to see what Rochelle does week in, week out, when defenses, Kyle, know that he's the focus, right? I mean, he's clearly the #1 threat for Indiana State, yet he still produces week in and week out for this offense.
Yeah, and that just goes to him being a dynamic player. You clearly know that defenses are going to game plan around him, and he still produces.
So now the Sycamores will send it away, trailing by 1. Kai Flash Wilson back deep for Youngstown State. He'll field it at the 6. Looking for his second touchdown on the return game this year, and he will be met. Good coverage by the Sycamore unit, and they will stop the return man for the Penguins at the 22-yard line. And that's where YSU will go back to work, leading by 1. 7-6. Bo Brungard will be back at the control. 3 of 6 for 36 yards passing so far in our first quarter for Brungard. Also 5 carries, 33 yards and a touchdown. And some history here at Youngstown State. Brungard starting to climb those charts past his father. 1994, his father, Mark Brungard, over 2,400 yards. Now Bo Brungard. Run play, and it's a lot of room up the middle for Jaden Gilbert. He's still loose all the way down the far sideline. Is anybody going to catch him? Gilbert's at the 10. Finally had to hesitate and gets caught inside the 5, but another explosive run from the sophomore running back from Elyria, Ohio, Jaden Gilbert. Gilbert is turning into a big part of this offense. Kamal Clark, who's one of the best tacklers in the league, had a look at it, but Gilbert able to shake him and get outside and use his speed to make another big play for the YSU offense.
Picking up where he left off last week, Dre.
Yeah, Gilbert, what a game last week. Just 9 carries, but 149 yards and a 53-yard touchdown run in the win over Southern Illinois. First and goal, YSU looking to add to their lead. Gilbert again somehow stays on his feet after the initial contact. Still on his feet. Is he in? No, they're going to mark him short. What an effort from Gilbert, though. That looked like he was going to be stopped at the line of scrimmage and kept bouncing off white jerseys.
What a task for this Indiana State defense. You got to worry about Bo. You got to worry about Jaden Gilbert, Ethan Wright. It's just a stable of horses back there for the running backs at Youngstown State.
That was quite the fight at running the football there from Gilbert, as he looked to be stopped a couple of times and gets all the way to the 1. Second and goal. Penguins already up to 130+ rushing yards. This time they put it in the hands of their best player. Bo Brungard falls into the end zone. Touchdown, Youngstown State. Brungard's in for the 2nd time in the first quarter, and for the 20th time on the ground this season. 13-6, pending an extra point. Penguins extend the lead.
Just quarterback power. Ethan Wright, following Ethan Wright up into the hole. Just unselfish play there by Ethan Wright.
So Brungard, only, you look at, listed at 6 feet, but he runs with such power. 215 pounds, and for a quarterback, that is a lot of strength and power in the run game, and he's able to go right into the end zone, and it's 14-6 Penguins. 20th rushing touchdown of the season for Brungard, and that sets a new Missouri Valley Football Conference record for most rushing touchdowns in a season by a quarterback. This prolific campaign for the dual threat signal caller from New Middletown, Ohio continues, Kyle. I heard from Doug Phillips this week. Somebody asked him, have you seen anything like this? Have you experienced anything quite like what Bo is doing? And he said, I really can't say I have. The combination of the threat with his arm and obviously what he can do with his legs. This has been a special season for the second-year starter.
Yeah, for sure. And we've seen flashes of Bo since 2023. And when you saw Bo in a game, you expected him to come in and run, right? Change of pace. And then last year he had the full command of the offense, and he was working out all the kinks. And this year he's really putting it all together. And like I said, just shout out to Coach Yursich for getting him comfortable back there behind center.
Mike Yursich, first year as offensive coordinator, the former OC at Texas, Penn State, Oklahoma State, amongst other stops, a 20-year-plus veteran in the coaching ranks, has really unlocked the junior quarterback, Bo Brungard. The kickoff is fair caught it near the 5-yard line by Wiest, and Indiana State will go back to work offensively. Brungard talking more about the junior quarterback, and there's a lot to say with the season he's having. When you look at last year, sort of a growth year, first-year starter, but he still was a first-team All-Missouri Valley Football Conference as a selection, as an all-purpose player. Not a quarterback. Obviously, the run game was his strength, but this year, there's not many weaknesses in Brungard's game, as he threw for a career-high 345 yards a week ago and a career-high 4 touchdowns, and he's got 2 rushing touchdowns here in the opening quarter. And now the Sycamores look to answer as they did on their last drive with a touchdown. Keegan Patterson in the pocket. Pressure comes, and down he goes. YSU. Mike Wells again was the first Penguin there. The linebacker, DN, edge, whatever you want to label him as, Kyle. He's made an impact game in, game out for the Penguins this season.
Cameron Cunningham there on the assist as well. Not over pursuing when the pocket breaks down. That was key. That's going to be key all day.
And that takes us to the end of the first quarter here at Stan Boss Stadium. Bo Brungard's been in the end zone twice. Rashad Rochelle been in the end zone as well for Indiana State. And the Penguins, after a missed extra point, find themselves in front, 14-6. 1 quarter in the books. Back to start our second at Stan Boss Stadium. Missouri Valley Football Conference action is brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And get a look inside the Ice Castle, Stambaugh Stadium in Youngstown, Ohio. Obviously, great football tradition here in the Mahoning Valley. Four-time national champion, Youngstown State Penguins. Jim Tressel, the architect of those title teams. Former president here, athletic director, football coach, and president at Youngstown State. So we have a stoppage in play after a penalty, I believe, or just check it here. We come back to action. We have a sack on Patterson. Okay, so a loss of 5. We'll set up 2nd and 15 for the Sycamores as we begin the second quarter after the sack before the timeout. Patterson back to work. Mike Wells got him again to set up a 2nd and long. On the outside run play, the Sycamores go for the first time today to Nick Osho, the redshirt junior tailback from Burnaby, British Columbia, Canada. He's had a nice season. 93 carries now, 500+ yards, team high. Also a team high 7 rushing touchdowns, over 6 yards per carry for Osho, who transferred to Indiana State from Reedley College in California. 3rd down for the Sycamores and about 12 or 13. It'll be 3rd and 13 officially here. Osho going to get the football again. Good blocking from the Sycamores. Osho gets outside defenders and flies up the sideline. And the Sycamores having some success offensively here. They haven't been able to stop run guard defensively, but on the offensive end, some success for Mike Bath or John Bear, excuse me, and his unit here today, Kyle. Osho reads that block well. Okay.
Yeah, you have Andrew Jackson down away, just kind of getting caught up and leaking inside, losing that contain there. He's really the primary defender on the outside there for the Penguins defensive line.
That pass complete to the tight end who made the great block on the previous run by Osho. That was Rocco Sioka, the redshirt junior tight end from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Makes it 2nd and 7 after a short pickup. Handoff this time back to Osho. Keeps the legs moving, but Dathan Hickey was not going to let him get away as he able to wrestle him down. Hickey, the transfer from Yale, who played in his first game in over 700 days in the 2025 season opener against Mercyhurst. And in that game, he had an interception, forced fumble recovery, and was named the National Defensive Player of the Week. And he, of course, has missed a couple games this year due to injury, but he's been a versatile piece of the secondary for John Hainline, the defensive coordinator. He's able to play that safety spot and also move around, play some corner.
Yeah, very important for the defense to have
timeout.
A player
Indiana
like Dathan
State.
Hickey on the
They're
field.
First of the half.
Smart,
this will be a full immediate timeout.
Out of position.
Timeout by Indiana State. We'll take one as well. 13:03 to go 2nd quarter in Youngstown. 14-6, Youngstown State in front.
Caitlin Clark from the logo.
You know, life would be easier if I could do everything from the logo.
Allow me to assist.
Pickles. It worked. Buckets. Now that's a tomato. Sheboygan.
The answer is Sheboygan.
They match. P-E-Z-O-L.
Bottom row.
From the logo.
State Farm with the assist.
All right, so who knows why?
I know why. For starters, I'm getting a top-tier education without the price tag. Can you say that? Engineering, sports, music, business. I can do anything here. I'm getting my hands dirty, learning what my friends are only reading about. I'm part of something bigger here. I'm proud to bleed red and black. So yeah, I know why. It's not a question. It's the answer. Youngstown State University. Know why.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like getting Bateman when you need the protection of Batman.
Easy, Batemobile, not too fast, baby.
Any last words? Just one. It's a long one. Dermatologist.
That's why you need the real deal.
Look out! That's Batman!
Go home, Bateman. Do a podcast or something.
That's hurtful.
So don't settle for just any insurance when there's State Farm.
Credit Union One, the official deposit partner of the Missouri Valley Football Conference, offers the best of everyday banking. CU1 members gain access to competitive products like high-yield checking, dedicated financial wellness resources to help you build a strong foundation for the future, and nationwide access through 24/7 digital and mobile banking and an expansive network of 130,000 ATMs from coast to coast. Discover better banking for all at cu1.com.
Indiana State back to work offensively. Looking at the series history, this is the 34th all-time meeting between the Penguins and the Sycamores. Series dates back to November of 1998. YSU has won 3 straight in the series. They lead it all time, 25-8, as Osho has the football back in his hands, and he is sprinting toward the end zone, caught just outside the 10-yard line. Hickey chases him down first for the Penguins, but Osho having a big impact for Indiana State offensively. Get a look at the great blocking again up front for the Sycamores to spur the run by Osho. They'll go right back to him. Why not? And this time he is cut down. Preston Zandier, the first one there to trip him up. The middle linebacker for the Penguins, who comes in leading YSU in tackles with 56 prior to today's game. Zandier, the senior from Pittsburgh. Osho remains in there with Keegan Patterson on 2nd and goal for the Sycamores. Ball back to Osho. He will pick up a few yards as Dane Hodge in there on the tackle with Mike Wells. Cameron Cunningham assists as well.
Indiana State likes what they see when they get the ball in Osho's hands there and just keeping it on the ground with him and consistently getting some yards.
Talk about the series history. Penguins having the upper hand 25-8 all time, and they've beaten Indiana State more than any other opponent they've faced in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. Patterson with a physical run. The quarterback not afraid to stick his shoulder down. He gets met shy of the goal line, but Patterson with no fear going on the ground trying to get to the goal line. See the Penguins converge. First one there was Dane Hodge. Zandier also giving chase. So now, Sycamores on 4th down will keep the offense on the field. We've come this far. Nothing to lose if you're Indiana State here today. 4th down, Kurt Mallory says go. Patterson, they give it to Osho. Finds a seam, gets up toward the goal line, and he is in. Touchdown, Indiana State, and the Sycamores have continued to answer. Penguins throwing punches, but Indiana State responding as they counter with Osho. Once again, a big drive for the redshirt junior running back from Burnaby, British Columbia, Canada. See him just find that little crease and get up into the end zone. And it'll be a 2-point attempt after the 4th down touchdown for Indiana State, as they will try and tie the game. They missed an extra point on their first score, which put them down 8 after the Penguins are able to get back in the end zone with Brungard for the 2nd time. Early 2nd quarter, 2-point effort. Patterson in some trouble, forced off his spot, just lofts it toward the corner. It'll fall incomplete, no good on the 2-point attempt. So the Penguins will once again remain in front. 14-12 our score. 11:05 left to go, 2nd quarter. Timeout on the field. We'll take one as well. Penguins by 2 early 2nd quarter at Stan Boss Stadium. We'll be back with more first half action. battling here against the number 19 Youngstown State Penguins. 2 rushing touchdowns from Bo Brungard has accounted for the 14 Youngstown State points, while Indiana State has scored twice. Nick Osho went in on the previous drive, the most recent drive. Sycamores also got a little touchdown pass to Rashad Rochelle on a shovel pass, but they missed the extra point on the initial score and then went for 2 on the second touchdown and were unable to get it. So that's where we stand here. Flash Wilson has some room to operate, works to the far side, and good chase by the Sycamores, but Wilson still on his feet, fights all the way just shy of midfield, as we see 2 of the best return men in the Valley today, Flash Wilson and, of course, Rashad Rochelle on the other side. 10:53 to go, second quarter at Stambaugh Stadium, as we get a look at the return from Flash Wilson, who was the Missouri Valley Football Conference Newcomer of the Week after he had a school record 100-yard kickoff return in the win over Murray State on October 25th. Wilson, a transfer from Division II Slippery Rock, where he was a big-time kick returner and receiver. He has been a big impact on the YSU offense and special teams this season. 1st and 10 as YSU goes back to work with good field position off the return by Wilson. Brungard on the money over the middle. Luke Hensley makes the catch. He is brought down by a number of defenders. Yatsko in there initially, but it's a big gain from Brungard to Hensley into Indiana State territory. There's a comfortability right now with Bo Brungard that is evident. He just looks so comfortable in that pocket. There's been so much growth from year 1 to year 2 as a starter for the dual threat Bo Brungard, who's making his 23rd consecutive start at QB today for the Penguins. 1st and 10 at the Indiana State 36-yard line. Just over 10 to go until halftime. Bo Brungard going to throw again, and this is where, when the play breaks down, he can be electric. And here he goes, near side, inside the 20, forced out of bounds by Yatsko as he goes crashing into the promotional signs. But a great run again from Brungard, who just doesn't see anything downfield, Kyle, but just pulls it down for positive yardage.
Yeah, he's wanting to go to the left with it, rolls out left, protection breaks down, and he just skips out to the right there. And when you got a defense moving to the left, obviously they're going to honor Bo where he's going and over pursue, and leaves a lot of green grass on the other side of the field.
So it's 1st down. YSU offense set up at the Indiana State 15, looking to extend the lead here, middle part of our second quarter. Indiana State calling for movement on the offensive line by YSU, and they're going to get
ball
the
start,
marker.
Offense, number 62, 5-yard penalty, remains 1st down.
Shane Keenan, the guilty party, who's at right guard today. He started at right guard the majority of last year, jumped out to become the primary starting right tackle to begin this year, and due to some injuries again, Isaac Perkins, who had started every game at left guard up until today, is out today. So Keenan goes from tackle to guard. Nielsen at right tackle in his spot. Keen back at center. And Joseph Era goes from right guard to left guard. And the All-American Desmond Lee stays at left tackle, making his 36th start in a Penguin uniform today. So 1st and 15. Penguins backed up 5 yards after the motion penalty. Ball goes over the middle, underneath, complete to Flash Wilson. At the 15-yard line, Wilson makes his 42nd catch of the season. Came into today with almost 1,300 all-purpose yards, over 700 on kickoff returns, over 400 in the passing game, and over 100 rushing as well, as he gets a lot of those jet motions, creative run actions from offensive coordinator Mike Yursich, as well to his receiving threat down the field. 2nd down and 10 after a 5-yard completion to Wilson.
Timeout, Indiana State, their 2nd of the half.
Indiana State burns its second timeout of the first half. We'll step aside as well. 8:29 to go until halftime. Penguins 14, Sycamores 12. Back after this here in Youngstown. Welcome back. Youngstown, Ohio, where our location today for Missouri Valley football conference action. Penguins and Sycamores. Trying to pick up big wins today. One team trying to get to a second playoff berth in 3 years, as the completion here on 2nd and 10. Brungard goes to Max Tomczak. Second time today we've called the senior wideout from Frankfort, Illinois, Max Tomczak, who comes in with 52 catches prior to today's game. Team high, 725 yards receiving to lead the Penguins. And 5 receiving touchdowns was tied for the team lead as well. Sets up 3rd and 1 for Youngstown State. Ethan Wright, big physical tailback, comes in to occupy the backfield with Bo Brungard, who's in the shotgun on 3rd and short. Tomczak motions near side. Brungard nearly had a seam to get in, got upended, and he's down just shy of the end zone. So it'll bring up first down, though. It's enough for a Penguin first down, and now Mike Yurcich will call for his offense to hustle to the line. Brungard under center, leaps over with the help of his offensive line, and he should have enough, and he does. Touchdown, Youngstown State, as Bo Brungard is living in the end zone here in this first half. 3rd rushing touchdown for the junior quarterback already today, with 7.5 to go until halftime. Brungard has now up to 21 rushing touchdowns on the season to add to his new Missouri Valley Football Conference record for rushing TDs by a QB. As Yurcich said to his quarterback, just get up to the line, get it in the end zone. Simple but effective. Touchdown Penguins. Listowka on for the extra point. Out of the hold of Kilpatrick, sends it through, and with 7:32 remaining until halftime, as we're going to get a marker here, and I believe it might be on contact with Listowka. As you see him come up slow, as you get a look. Here's Listowka, and that will draw a marker.
Point for try is good. Personal foul, roughing the kicker, number 15.
That was Xavier
that 15-yard penalty would be
Andrews
on the ensuing kickoff.
Defensive back, redshirt junior, who's a good one, a transfer from Ellsworth Community College, just couldn't stop his momentum as he came around the edge, and unfortunately contacts Listowka, and that'll be added on the kickoff. 7:32 left till halftime, and it's now 21-12. As you see, Listowka going to get a little attention. They're kind of a laugh, making sure he's okay. Kyle, you played defensive end. There's usually not that much contact in the specialist area. That Listowka probably wasn't ready for that one.
Yeah, they don't see too much contact in practice either. So, you hope that he's okay and it doesn't, affect his kicks later in this game, because right now we're back and forth.
This has been a competitive game, and we talked about Indiana State. Their record's a little misleading. 3-7, 1-5 in the Valley. Obviously lost their starting quarterback 2 games into the season, but this is a team that went to Brookings, South Dakota, and upset the nationally ranked South Dakota State Jackrabbits 24-12 earlier in November. They are always competitive under Kurt Mallory in his 9th season. Wilkins will line up to send it away for the Penguins. It'll be a one bouncer that will be fielded nicely on a hop by Wiest, and then he'll get out near side before being tripped up by the Penguin defender on the play, and that was Weston Sturzinger, the freshman defensive back, who cut down Wiest.
And really, to me, I think that's like a touchdown saving tackle right there, because Sturzinger was pretty much the last line of defense for that Penguin special teams.
The Penguins up now 21-12 after a 6-play, 54-yard drive that took 3 minutes, 20 seconds, capped off by a 1-yard touchdown run from Bo Brungard, his 3rd rushing touchdown in the first half today, as he's already up to 61 rushing yards on 9 carries and the 3 scores. 1st and 10 for Keegan Patterson and the Indiana State offense. Handoff on first down to Dion Brown. He's able to negotiate through a small opening and pick up a couple yards. 2nd down and about 8 for the Sycamores.
And you can see Parker Jacobs just stand up his offensive lineman and really set the edge there and create no running room there.
That D-line, we talked about the O-line. Well, the D-line has been ravaged by injuries for Youngstown State as well. There's a lot of new faces, a lot of young players getting a chance in there. We'll talk about that here shortly. 2nd and 9. Patterson going to take a shot downfield, has his man, and we know who that is. Rashad Rochelle is out there as he beats Julius and scores, and the Sycamores continue countering every punch the Penguins throw. 6:45, and the Sycamores still hanging around as Patterson strikes deep to his favorite target, Rashad Rochelle, who has his 2nd touchdown here in the first half. Fake to Brown. Rochelle uses the speed, and a great throw from the redshirt junior quarterback, Keegan Patterson. 8th, make it actually 9th touchdown pass, as that first score to Rochelle was also technically a pass on the shovel forward. Extra point, Sebastian Lopez. It is up and through. So with under 7 to go until the intermission. It's 21-18, Youngstown State now with the advantage. As the Sycamores still battling, and that's what we talked about. They may not be in the playoff hunt. There may not be something at stake today, but this team is always going to fight under head coach Kurt Mallory as Rochelle continues to show why he might be playing on Sundays. There's a couple receivers in Max Tomczak as well as Rochelle on the other side that are on the NFL radar. You see why.
Yeah, you've nailed it, Dre. Coach Mallory has these guys playing well against a lot of teams that, you know, on paper they maybe shouldn't be playing well against, and they always hang around. And that's one thing that the Penguins do, is they somehow always seem to let some teams hang around. So at some point you'd like to see them play up to their potential.
Penguins, of course, in the playoff hunt, trying to get a win at home today on Senior Day. The Penguins honored their senior class prior to the contest today, and then YSU will have to go on the road next week to a place they have not won since the late 90s, Northern Iowa. But that's for a whole different conversation. There's work for Penguin fans. They're thinking, we got to take care of the Sycamores, who are battling here in this first half. Lofting kickoff will be fielded. Fair caught by Alex McDonald, the up man, tight end for the Penguins. And Brungard goes back to work. The offense has been humming for the Penguins, but the Indiana State offense having success as well. So we've seen a bit of an offensive explosion here in this first half. Brungard so far, 6 of 9 passing, 68 yards, and he's obviously been in the end zone 3 times on the ground, 9 carries, 61 yards rushing. Jaden Gilbert, 4 carries, 82 yards rushing, a 20.5 yard average per carry for Gilbert. On first down, Flash Wilson will motion out of the backfield, and the ball will go to him on a quick little throw out, and all over it for the Sycamores, wearing number 35 defensively, is Caleb Harris, redshirt freshman defensive lineman who did not let Wilson get away. Mike Yursich wanting to get the ball in the hands of Flash Wilson. They're creative on offense with how they involve him. A lot of misdirection, a lot of motions, quick throws, deep balls as well. So Wilson, very versatile player. That time nowhere to go. Loss of 1, 2nd and 11. We move toward the 6-minute mark of the second quarter. Brungard on 2nd and long, sets to throw. Fires, complete. It's going to be a first down. Bringing it in is Mike Sullivan, another Division II transfer this year for YSU. He was a big-time receiver at Slippery Rock, as was Flash Wilson. Both come over to be Penguins this season. Sullivan makes that catch to move the chains. 18th reception for the senior, 6'3", 210 out of Huntington, Maryland.
You know, Coach Phillips has done a great job in the portal and grabbing guys that fit into his scheme here. And it's not necessarily guys from big-time programs. It's a lot of Division II guys that are playing up.
Solomon converts on the pass from Brungard. On first down, they go back to the run game. Ethan Wright takes a shot into the back as he was turned around. Another good physical run from the senior tailback who hops up. Wright, member of the Missouri Valley Football Conference all-newcomer team last season in his first year as a Penguin after transferring from Cincinnati. Unfortunately had last year cut short due to an Achilles injury, but worked extremely hard in the offseason and battled back in the 5th game of this year to get back on the field for his final collegiate season. 2nd and 3 as we go under 5 minutes till halftime. Wilson in motion again. Brungard fakes that way. Now Tucks to run. Instead, he's going to throw. Fires out, has Tom Zach open, and Tom Zach's all the way down inside the Indiana State 30. And Brungard that time looked like he was going to run.
Yep.
Kept his head upfield.
That's what I was going to say. This is put this play on the Walter Payton campaign reel, because the pocket collapsed. He wants to run, but he kept his eyes downfield, and he's searching, and he found Tom Zach open down on the sideline.
Now they go back to Brungard on the ground. Up the middle, some open space. Falls down right around the 20-yard line. Penguins are in tempo. Second and short. ISU offense wants to get to the line. Brungard stands in the pocket on second and short. End zone. Caught. Touchdown. Flash Wilson as he goes up in traffic and makes a contested catch. Brungard with his first passing touchdown of the day, his 4th touchdown overall here in the first half. Wilson with his team-leading 6th touchdown reception, and this is an impressive one, Kyle.
Yeah, Indiana State's trying to get a game run up front, which, likes to even the numbers for a defensive line against an offensive line. The Youngstown State offensive line picks it up nicely and keeps a clean pocket for Bo.
Flash Wilson goes up over the top of 5'11" corner Amon Glass and makes a great contested reception in the end zone as the Penguins continue to keep scoring on offense, as the lead for YSU has now swelled to 10. It's 28-18. Indiana State has kept answering offensively as well, and now they're going to have to do the same if they want to keep pace with under 4 to go until the break here in Youngstown. 6-play, 75-yard drive for the Penguins that lasted almost 3 minutes. And you talked about it, Kyle. The Walter Payton Award, the buzz continues to increase around the fact that there's a lot of fans, not just here in Youngstown, but across the country, that believe Bo Brungard should be the leading candidate, if not the easy choice for that top award in the FCS for offensive players.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, hats off to Coach Yursich. I'm going to keep emphasizing that, because it's the first time that Bo is in this offense, and he seems like he's been running it for years.
Yursich came over to be the new OC for Doug Phillips and has had an immediate big impact on this program. And Doug Phillips has talked about how important it was bringing in a coach like Yursich, as Rochelle's going to bring it out. He's always dangerous, but he's cut down again. Sturzinger, the freshman defensive back, makes another big tackle. And there's a marker on the return, so we'll check that, as Rochelle might have been freed up due to an infraction. We'll see who this is going against with under 4 to go until halftime. Youngstown State.
There is no foul for holding. It'll be first down, Indiana State at the end of the run.
Hoping. They're going to say no call. So they pick up the marker. We'll get a look and see what was in question here. And it's going to be this block on Ross Davidson, number 21.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit of a hold. He got away with one there.
Yeah, I think the Sycamores might have got away with one there. Lance Reese, the big tight end, got a handful of shoulder pad there on Ross Davidson of the Penguins, but either way, we move on. First down, Sycamores. They have been really impressive on offense thus far. Patterson has hung in there after an interception. He's continued fighting, and he'll carry it on first down, and he's brought down immediately by Karsten Marshall, the Iowa State transfer for the Penguin defense, who's been a great producer at linebacker this year with over 50 tackles. So second down and long for the Sycamores here as we move toward the 3-minute mark of our second quarter at Stambaugh Stadium in Youngstown, Ohio. Dre Smith, Kyle Searle, and our great crew with you here today. Great to have you aboard. Appreciate you tuning in for some Missouri Valley Football Conference action. Patterson gonna shoot long again, lets it fly, and guess who's out there? Rashad Rochelle again. He hesitates, runs by Wimpy, touchdown, Indiana State. Rashad Rochelle is putting on a show. He was open, Patterson hits him, and the Sycamores continue to keep pace here in Youngstown.
What a dangerous receiver. And, Indiana State has watched film because SIU last week, they were attacking the center of the field, and Indiana State came and is doing the same thing today here.
So with 3:01 to go until halftime here in Youngstown, Rashad Rochelle making his case for the top receiver in the Missouri Valley, as he will try and bring the Sycamores within 3 if Lopez can hit the extra point. He does. 3:01 to go in the second quarter. High scoring first half here at Stan Boss Stadium as Rochelle with another big play. How about this, Kyle? 3 catches, 163 yards, and 3 touchdowns for Rashad Rochelle. That's not a bad first half for the senior receiver from Springfield, Illinois.
Nope, not at all, Dre.
The all-newcomer team member a year ago. He's our transfer from Rutgers. Started his career with the Scarlet Knights and has blossomed in Terre Haute. Has had a team-high 58 receiving yards last year, 527 receiving yards on those 58 receptions last year, 4 touchdowns. Also finished 8th in the country a year ago at the FCS level in combined kick return yards with 751. After spending his first 2 years at Rutgers, as I mentioned. Impact transfer for Kurt Mallory and the Sycamores, and he has kept hope alive in the first half for Indiana State fans here of an upset in Youngstown. 28-26 is your score as we near the break. Another short kickoff will be fair caught by McDonald of Youngstown State, and YSU will look to continue the high-scoring pace it has kept here in the first half as Bo Brungard to reset things with 3:01 to go until halftime. Brungard so far 10 of 13 passing, 128 yards and a touchdown, and he's also continued to be successful running the football. 10 carries, 69 yards, and 3 scores on the ground. So the 2 players we highlighted in our open in pregame, Bo Brungard for Youngstown State, Rashad Rochelle for the Sycamores, have lived up to the hype thus far. Brungard going to throw on first down, flips it out to the sideline. Tom Zach, the senior, is there to bring it in, but a marker on the play.
Too many men on the field, Dre. Looks like Indiana State was trying to run off a defender there late, and they got caught.
So we'll check the flag here with under 3 minutes to go until halftime.
When the ball was snapped. 5-yard penalty from the previous ball. Remains first down.
So just as you mentioned, Kyle, too many men on the field for Kurt Mallory and the Sycamores. So that'll move the Penguins up 5 yards. 1st and 5 at their own 30 for the Penguins. Jet motion. Ball goes into the hands of Flash Wilson. Wilson cut down by Yatsko, the talented redshirt freshman nickelback, who has had a great redshirt freshman campaign, over 70 tackles now for Yatsko, who was able to meet the speedy Flash Wilson and make a nice form tackle.
Yeah, Yatsko's going to have a nice career, and you know, depending on how college football looks, you know, you hope that Kurt Mallory can keep him in Terre Haute for his career there. Hometown kid, so you'd think he would be wanting to stay and play in his hometown.
On 2nd and 6, Brungard going to let it fly. Flash Wilson was out there trying to get to it, but it's out of his reach. Defender was closing in. That was Devin Johnson, the free safety, who was closing in as well. So that'll fall incomplete. 3rd and 6 for the Penguins, with 2:12 on the second quarter game clock. Brungard with just his 4th incompletion. 10 of 14 now passing. Tom Zach, the leading receiver thus far for the Penguins, 3 catches, 52 yards. He could be a definite possibility for Brungard here on 3rd and 6. Brungard stands, now forced near side, has to just fire it out there, and it's out of bounds. I think that was more of just a get rid of it type throw for Brungard with nothing downfield. So the punt unit will come on for the Penguins. Penguins had scored 4 straight times after punting on their opening possession. Now we'll get our second look at Brendan Kilpatrick, the senior punter. who was the FCS Punter of the Year last year. On the season in 2025, Kilpatrick averaging almost 47 yards per kick. This will be his 31st punt of the year. Has a long kick of 67 on the campaign. Gets his right foot into it. Back there to receive it is Rochelle, and he will not go anywhere. Dominic Julius is there to make the play immediately for YSU. That'll take us to the 2-minute timeout here in Youngstown. 28-26. Penguins with the slight lead. Back after this to close our first half.
Having insurance isn't
And we're back. Welcome back inside Stan Boss Stadium, Youngstown, Ohio. Final regular season home game for the Penguins today. They are in a first half battle with the Indiana State Sycamores. Penguins leading by 2, 28-26, under 2 minutes to go in our first half. Pass from Patterson, near side, complete to Keyshawn Singleton, the redshirt freshman who makes his 18th catch of the season. Singleton had a nice game last week against Illinois State with 6 catches for 51 yards. Modest gain, or excuse me, a decent gain, 8 yards, 2nd and 2, as the Sycamores try and move it in the final 2 minutes of the half here. Patterson this time just has to get it away out of bounds, throws it away into the sideline, incomplete. It'll be 3rd and 2. Keegan Patterson has had a nice first half, 6 of 9, 178 yards, 3 touchdowns. All have gone to the star receiver, Rashad Rochelle, who has 3 catches for 163 yards, an average of just 54 yards per catch thus far. As you look at the last 4 drives for the Sycamores, not wasting a lot of time either. Big plays, all touchdowns. They're right in this thing. Here's Patterson, runs, ball's loose, on the ground. Who will come up with it? There's a fight for it. They're going to mark him down, I believe.
Mark him down there, Dre.
That was close. We'll take a look at it. I had an eye on Patterson, saw that ball come loose, but he definitely might have had a knee down. It was close. We'll get a look as the redshirt junior quarterback. Oh, that needs to be looked at, I believe. So Doug Phillips, I think at this point, is using a timeout because he wants the replay booth to it's a turnover, I believe. So, or not a turnover, marked down on the field. So yeah, not a turnover. So it wouldn't be automatically reviewed unless they look at it and go to the booth. So that looked pretty close. Tough to tell exactly where where that was, but that could be a big play in the game here with a 2-point game in the first half with over a minute to go. That, Okay, so we'll get Doug Phillips.
After video review, the ruling has been on the field with the runner being down has changed. It's a fumble. It'll be first down, Youngstown State at the 27-yard line. Youngstown State will not be charged a timeout.
That's great work here from our crew as you get that ball is loose out of the hands of Patterson before the backside hits the turf.
Connor Johansson just way to get his big mitts on the ball and just keep fighting.
So Patterson, and a great job by the replay booth, not only to review that, but to do it quickly and not break the flow of the game. That's been a great change in replay over the last couple of years, and not only college, professional football as well, to have that quick replay review process where you're not going to a formal review where it stops play for 3-5 minutes. That was well done by the whole crew here, and it keeps the game moving. It's the right call. Penguins take over off the fumble by Patterson. Second turnover today for the Sycamores, and they set up the Penguins in good position on offense. Brungard slings it out into the flat far side. Ethan Wright, the tailback, on the receiving end. He'll get up and be marked just shy of a first down at the 20.
Dangerous guy to get the ball out in space like that. Ethan Wright, big, powerful runner, loves to get the ball out in the flats there.
Ethan Wright, threat in the run game and the pass game. On second and short, under a minute to go in the half, they sling it out far side to Tomczak on a quick hitter. And Indiana State was ready for that one. They force him out of bounds. And that'll stop the clock with 43 seconds on the second quarter game clock.
They're first of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout. Please put 45 seconds on the game clock. 45 seconds.
Youngstown State will take a timeout. Doug Phillips with 43 seconds wants to keep time for his offense to work with here, as they are nearing the red zone after the fumble by Keegan Patterson. Penguins scored off an interception by Patterson early in the game. This is Makai Shaid picked off a pass by Patterson and set up the Penguins first and goal. Brungard went in off the turnover. And here with 45 seconds to go until halftime, Penguins trying to convert another Indiana State turnover into points.
Yeah, we had an offensive shootout there in the first and beginning of the second quarter there, and now both defenses has back-to-back stops, with the Penguins having a crucial turnover here in their side of the field.
So Brungard on 3rd and 4 after the loss on the completion to Tomczak. Loss of a yard sets up 3rd and about 4. Brungard stands in the pocket as Wright goes in motion. In breaking route, Solomon comes in, takes a big hit from Kamal Clark, but hangs on to the pass in traffic, and a big conversion as the 6'3", 200-plus-pound receiver converts there on 3rd down from Brungard. Penguins quickly to the line. First down. Clock moving toward 30 seconds to go in the half. Brungard just going to sprint out of bounds near side and stop the clock with 29 seconds till halftime. Brungard will reset the offense as Ethan Wright checks out of the game, and Jaden Gilbert takes his spot as the running back for Youngstown State. You see Gilbert there wearing number 7 alongside Brungard. Fresh Walters, see him in the game at receiver along with Tomczak and Solomon. They'll line up in a bunch formation to the far side of your screen. 2nd and 9 after a 1-yard keeper by Brungard. Indiana State brings pressure and they get home, and it's their all-American safety, Kamal Clark, who came unblocked up the middle to sack Brungard and force a timeout.
Youngstown State, they're second of the half. This will be a 30-second
Kamal
timeout.
Clark, the senior safety from Lackawanna, New York. He was a star at Central Connecticut State over the first 3 years of his career. The Northeast Conference Defensive Player of the Year last season. First year as a Sycamore. And there it is, most career tackles amongst active FCS players. And Kamal Clark, who's had a couple seasons now in a row of over 115 tackles. He's among the leaders among active players. We saw Colin Bohannick here with Southern Illinois last week as well. At safety, Kamal Clark, one of the best in the business at the FCS level at his position.
He can do it in coverage and he can do it in the backfield. A couple TFLs on for a safety is not a bad day.
He's had 5 games last year at Central Connecticut State with at least 10 tackles, and he also set a school record there last year with 117 tackles in total. So it's 3rd and 18 after the sack by Clark on Brungard.
Timeout.
And with 24 seconds to go until halftime, Indiana State will go ahead and use their 3rd and final timeout. So Kurt Mallory and his defensive coordinator David Elson want to make sure they're on the same page here and try and force, at the worst, a field goal attempt for Youngstown State and try and be right in this game before halftime. Talk about David Elson leading the defense. We talked about first-year offensive coordinator John Baer for Kurt Mallory. Also has a first-year coordinator on the defense. David Elson has a really good resume as a coach at the Division I level. He was a head coach at Western Kentucky from 2003 to 2009. Also the defensive coordinator at Ball State for 3 seasons prior to getting back into coaching with Purdue and Wake Forest over the last couple of years. 30-plus years of experience for defensive coordinator David Elson leading the Sycamore unit. They're trying to prevent Youngstown State from converting a 3rd and very long here. 3rd and 18. Brungard has Gilbert with him in the backfield. Drops, pressure comes. Has to just set on his back foot, throw it toward the corner out of bounds on a throwaway. So that will force a field goal attempt from Andrew Listowka, who is 0 for 1 today. Listowka missed his only attempt last week in the win over Southern Illinois. And earlier today, Listowka was wide left on a 38-yard attempt on the opening drive. The second drive for the Penguins early in the game. So there's Listowka. He also ranks among the leaders most field goals amongst active players in the FCS. He's been very reliable for the Penguins here, 3rd year as a Penguin. Out of the hold of Kilpatrick and the snap of Floyd, this one is money for the junior place kicker Andrew Listowka, who is now on the season 14 for 17. And that one goes through for Youngstown State to extend the Penguin lead to 31-26 in the final seconds here of our first half. And Indiana State will likely go ahead and either run the ball, take a safe play, knee, and get to the locker room in a shootout of a first half here at Stambaugh Stadium in Youngstown. Penguins last week fell down 24-7 in a key playoff game again, a key playoff implication game last week against Southern Illinois. And were able to battle back to win that game by 10, but they are in a dogfight here today, as are most games in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. Close one in Youngstown today. It's a 7-play drive for the Penguins. Went just 6 yards after the fumble by Indiana State. Only a minute on the drive, but the field goal from Listowka gives YSU a 5-point advantage, and Wilkins will kick it away for the hometown Penguins. He will squib it, fielded by one of the up men for Indiana State. Sliding down at the 35-yard line for the Sycamores was Colton Gajewski, the junior defensive lineman who fielded the kickoff. And with 12 seconds left to go until the half, we'll likely see a kneel down here or a safe run play for Indiana State. Kurt Mallory has to feel like down 5 at halftime against a ranked opponent in a game that you're the underdog. Got to feel like you have a fighting chance in the second half. That's all you can ask for Indiana State. Patterson takes a knee, and that'll take us to the break here in Youngstown. The Penguins will receive the second half kickoff as Indiana State got it to open things up. Doug Phillips finds his team up 5 at the break. Youngstown State 31, Indiana State 26. We'll be back with halftime coverage after this. Welcome back. Stambaugh Stadium in Youngstown, Ohio, known as the Ice Castle to the fans here in the Mahoning Valley, where the Youngstown State Penguins ranked 19th in the nation on the push for the FCS playoffs. Find themselves up 5, 31-26 over the 3-7 Indiana State Sycamores in a high-scoring first half with big playoff implications. Penguins in front here at halftime in Youngstown. We are here in Youngstown, Ohio, where the number 19 Youngstown State Penguins lead the Indiana State Sycamores 31-26 at halftime in Missouri Valley Football Conference action in a first half that has seen 8 touchdowns and just 3 punts, a high-scoring first half. Penguins trying to earn a win to keep their playoff hopes alive, while Indiana State looking to pull their second big upset of a ranked team here in the month of November. Penguins hold a slim lead at the break here in Youngstown. We'll be back with more at Stambaugh Stadium. You are looking high atop Stan Boss Stadium in Youngstown, Ohio, where the Youngstown State Penguins, ranked 19th in the country, lead the Indiana State Sycamores 31-26 at the intermission here in Missouri Valley Football Conference action. Get a look at some of the faithful trying to watch their Penguins get a big win at home in the final home game of the regular season. Senior day here for the program in Youngstown State, and fans hoping they will find a way to get a win and keep the playoff hopes alive here in the Mahoning Valley. As we look around the rest of the Missouri Valley Football Conference, it is quite the race for the playoffs. Number of teams still in the mix as we head down the final 2 weeks of the regular season, as we see a battle in Murray, as Murray State currently leading number 18 North Dakota 9-7 early third quarter there, and what would be a major shocker if Murray State maintains their lead. South Dakota and Southern Illinois, two teams battling to try and get a win today. Both teams desperate to get a win to keep their playoff hopes alive. That game is tied early second quarter in Carbondale, Illinois, while two more games on the schedule. Of course, Illinois State and South Dakota State, both ranked in the middle there of the top 25, and another massive game in terms of playoff implications in Brookings, South Dakota, coming up at 2 o'clock Eastern on ESPN+. And then the number one team in the country, the undefeated 10-0 regular season Missouri Valley Football Conference champion North Dakota State Bison, will host the Northern Iowa Panthers 2:30 Eastern in Fargo, North Dakota, as the Bison look to stay undefeated as they get ready for a playoff run as well. Those are the scores in the upcoming games from around the Missouri Valley Football Conference. We'll be back with more as we move closer to our second half here in Youngstown. Penguins in front of the Sycamores. Tonight's halftime stats are sponsored by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Welcome back. Halftime at Stambaugh Stadium as we get ready, inch closer to our second half of action between number 19 Youngstown State and the Indiana State Sycamores, who are in a battle here in Missouri Valley Football Conference action. Penguins 31, Sycamores 26, as we get ready to start the third quarter here in just a moment. As we look at tonight's halftime highlights, sponsored by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Bo Brungard, we talked about him in the pregame, one of the leading candidates for the Walter Payton Award, and he had a big first half, Kyle, as he was again effective through the air and on the ground. 13 of 19, 124 yards and a touchdown passing, but 3 touchdowns on the ground. Bo continuing to do what he does.
Absolutely. He's still continuing to look comfortable back there. But credit to Indiana State. They made him work in the second half of the second quarter there and really forced some bad throws from him out of bounds. And it's keeping Indiana State in this game.
On the other side, we highlighted Rashad Rochelle pregame, and he has lived up to his billing as well as one of the top receivers in the Missouri Valley, as he's had a number of big plays. 3 scores for Rochelle in the first half. Patterson also doing well, getting him the football down the field. You see Rochelle just wide open down the field for Patterson to feed him. And the Penguins have continued to have trouble guarding Rochelle down the field. This is one of the best receivers we've seen all season long.
Absolutely, and he's putting up Randy Moss numbers literally, a couple weeks before Thanksgiving. He's electric. We talked about him pregame. I expect him to have a big second half.
Also, time to look at today's halftime stats, sponsored by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Both teams with over 300 total yards through 2 quarters. Over 140 passing yards for each team, while each team has gone over 130 on the ground. Balance, explosiveness, dynamic play on offense from both sides. These defensive coordinators are going to go in at halftime and try and figure out how they can slow down some of these talented players on both sides offensively. You see the Penguins with the edge in time of possession. They've also forced 2 turnovers by the Sycamores, but give Indiana State credit. They have hung in there and continue to battle as they always do under head coach Kurt Mallory, and they find themselves down just 5 here as we get ready to start our third quarter. The Sycamores pulled that big upset, a shocker, out in Brookings, South Dakota earlier in the month, winning at ranked South Dakota State 24-12, and they're trying to pull another ranked upset here today as they have the Penguins on high alert here as we begin the second half. Coach Doug Phillips trying to get his team back to the playoffs. They need a win here at home today on Senior Day, and then they'll need a win at Northern Iowa next week, but they're worried about the Sycamores right now as Youngstown State tries to have another big second half. They did it last week here at the Ice Castle as they were able to come from 10 down at the break and from 1 point down 17 in the first half against Southern Illinois to rally in the second half, scored 28 straight points in the second half on their way to a 10-point win. 8 combined touchdowns scored on 8 straight drives in our first half. Brungard again electric, and it was quite the offensive first 2 quarters here in Youngstown, and a fair catch made for the Sycamores on the opening kickoff of our second half. I want to correct myself. It is Indiana State getting the second half kickoff here today. Correct myself. Why his shoe was mentioned earlier is our recipient of the second half kick. It will be the Sycamores on offense again as Patterson goes back to work leading his group. The junior quarterback from Longmont, Colorado, who was at Northwest Mississippi Community College prior to becoming Sycamore. Also spent his first collegiate season at USC out in Southern California, but did not play there for the Trojans. He'll be in the shotgun on 1st and 10 as we open our third quarter at Stambaugh Stadium. Handoff on the first play will go to Osho, who had a nice first half with 7 carries for 71 yards and a touchdown. Nick Osho, the redshirt junior out of Canada, leading rusher for the Sycamores, picks up a handful, modest gain. The second down, and about 6 for the Sycamores. So 2nd and 7 officially here. It's underway in our third quarter. Great to have you aboard with us here this afternoon from Missouri Valley Football Conference action. Dre Smith, Kyle Searle, and our entire crew from Youngstown, Ohio. Patterson gonna roll. Lofts it out toward the sideline, and reeling it in is Keyshawn Singleton, the 6'1", 205-pound redshirt freshman from Springfield, Illinois. There was coverage from the Penguins, but Singleton unfazed.
Credit to Keegan, Patterson. Penguins have been in his face all afternoon, and he's getting these off-balance throws off, and his receivers are going up and making some nice plays for him.
To go back to Osho on a first down carry. Zandier spins him down. And a pickup of 6, maybe 7 on first down for Osho. And the Sycamores again on the move into Youngstown State territory on the opening drive of our second half. Right back to the junior Canadian running back, Osho, and he will have room to maneuver out toward the far sideline. Justin Wimpy, Dathan Hickey converge on the tackle.
A little bit of up-tempo for Indiana State here, running north and south, and then they're going to hit him out on the perimeter there, get the Penguins moving in a lot of different directions, not understanding where the ball's going to go.
First down run. New set of downs for the Sycamores near the 25. Osho again. Able to get upfield, but the ball's knocked out of his hands, and the Penguins have it, I believe. Looks like Preston Zandier fell on it after it was knocked loose. Osho unable to secure the ball, and it is Youngstown State football as Preston Zandier recovers the fumble by Osho. We'll try and see how it was lodged loose. With just over 13 minutes to go in our third quarter, the Penguins with their third turnover forced here this afternoon. Zandier, the senior middle linebacker. Here's Osho. It was Karsten Marshall.
Put his helmet right on the ball, Dre. Popped it free, giving your defense an opportunity to come away with another takeover. Let's see if this Penguins offense can take a hold of the opportunity.
So forced by Marshall, recovered by Zandier. Turnover gives it to YSU, 1st and 10. First down handoff goes to the sophomore tailback, Jaden Gilbert, and not much room to maneuver there. Strung out by a number of white jerseys, and finally making the tackle there on the play. In on it was Xavier Andrews, as well as a couple other teammates, forcing misdirection from Gilbert. Does pick up a couple, give him 3. 2nd and 7. As the Penguins try and score off another turnover by the Sycamores. This one a fumble by Osho. Another handoff goes to Gilbert. Picked up a couple yards, making the tackle there in the middle for the Sycamores. Can't tell if that's a 4 or a 3. I think it was McAllister. Might have also been who we called earlier. That's Alex Rose, the redshirt sophomore linebacker who wears 36. Another hometown player from Terre Haute, Indiana, who's in on that play. And we have a marker. We'll check that here. They check with Indiana State.
After the play's over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 95 of the defense. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run, automatic first down.
So an after the play penalty by the Sycamores will cost them some valuable yardage. As you get a look at the guilty party, that's a good one. Defensive tackle, redshirt senior Logan Wilson, a transfer from Western Michigan, who was the defensive player of the week in the Valley on September 8th earlier this year, and after their win over Eastern Illinois. So it moves the Penguins up near the 40, and this play is shut down.
Ball start, offense, number 76, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
And that's movement up front against the Penguins. It'll go against Nielsen, the right tackle, who's in there. Young player, sophomore out of Warren, Michigan, who has played really well for offensive coordinator Mike Yursich, offensive line coach Austin Bujnak. Really proud of how that young man has stepped into a starting role now at right tackle for the last few weeks for the Penguins when they've had some injuries, had to move some pieces around. So now backed up 1st and 15 of the Penguins. Brungard goes to work standing in the pocket. Fires downfield, looking for Tom Zach, and he brings it in. There was close coverage on the play by Jorge Valdez, the free safety, but Tom Zach able to reel it in. after Brungard put it out in front of the senior receiver.
Once again, Bo with a clean pocket, puts the ball where only Tom Zach can get it in that tight coverage stretch.
Tom Zach continues to produce. He now has a reception in a school record 44 straight games. Brungard on first down gets out of a crowd in the backfield and skirts upfield for a gain of about 7, maybe 8. It's amazing, Brungard. There's so many plays where it just looks like there's really not much for the YSU offense, and it turns out to be an 8, 9-yard gain with Brungard's legs.
Running through arm tackles once again, Kamal Clark, and looked like Xavier Andrews there to force him out of bounds there, because that could have been more.
2nd and 2 for the Penguin offense in Indiana State territory. Brungard on 2nd and short, steps, fires again for Tom Zach, who's got it. Gets a foot down on the sideline, and the connection of Brungard to Tom Zach starting to get working here in the 3rd quarter. Tom Zach in the first half was able to reel in 4 catches for 51 yards. And great route.
Shane Bennett about a half a step slow there to get to Bo. Puts it right over Tom Zach's shoulders.
On 1st and goal, they flip it out. Flash Wilson makes the first man miss, and he's brought down just shy of the goal line by Rose, the linebacker for Indiana State, as Flash Wilson gets it down near the goal line, and now the Penguins will hustle up to the line, trying to punch it in once again and extend their lead after the turnover by Indiana State. Brungard sprint out, far side, tries to get upfield, and he's wrangled down by Kamal Clark, the All-American safety. What a good tackler. Sure tackler Clark is. Once he gets to the football, there's not much doubt of whether that ball carrier is going to be on the ground.
And that's a good job by Indiana State's defense to string that out. Bo was running patient, but they kept stringing it out. They used that sideline as an extra defender, and Bo ran out of room.
Now 3rd and goal for YSU at the 2 after the negative play on a run by Brungard on 2nd down. Brungard on 3rd and goal, looks right, comes back left, throws, touchdown Penguins. Austin Bray, welcome back. Austin Bray, first game since early in the year after an injury, and he catches a touchdown pass from Bo Brungard to extend the YSU lead with over 9 minutes to go in our 3rd quarter.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Welcome back, Austin Bray. Like we said, creating those mismatches, and then he went up and he got that ball, high-pointed it.
6'5", 255-pound tight end from Venice, Florida, who transferred to Youngstown State from UT Martin. Makes an impact play there. Tough matchup, a 6'5", 250 athletic tight end. Doug Phillips thrilled to have him back on the offense, and Brungard finds him for a 2-yard touchdown connection with 9+ minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, and the Penguins up 2 scores now, 38-26. We'll step aside. More 3rd quarter action on the other side with the Penguins in front of the Sycamores by 12.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like getting Bateman when you need the protection of Batman.
Easy, Batemobile, not too fast, baby.
Any last words? Just one. It's a long one. Dermatologist.
That's why you need the real deal.
Look out! That's Batman!
Go home, Bateman. Do a podcast or something.
That's hurtful.
So don't settle for just any insurance when there's State Farm.
At Indiana State University, we're all in for you. So you can be all striving, all thriving, all achieving, all the time. Bring your hustle, your drive, and your ambitions. Match it all with opportunities that make your resume sing. Work on real-world projects as part of your degree. Find your people in a welcoming community. So, are you in?
Yeah. Let's go. We just gotta go hard. I go the hardest. I bring the pain. Not what you used to. It's all part of the game. Yeah, I just gotta go hard. Yeah, oh yeah, the beast back. Adrenaline pumping through my veins, can't relax. Original, I am not the same as these cats. I sting them if they never ever mind and they beeswax. I don't ever cap, but I'm wearing like 3 hats. Never been a rat, but I know where the cheese at. You'll never get a trophy cause they all here where we at. You better believe that. Go hard.
An 8-play, 79-yard drive took almost 4 minutes and ended on a 2-yard touchdown pass from Bo Brungard to Austin Bray, who you see there getting a little attention after catching the touchdown pass. Bray missed the last 8 games due to injury, returning today, and catches a 2-yard touchdown pass from Bo Brungard to put the Penguins up 38-26. Penguins are up 31-26 at the break and score the first points of our second half to now lead by 12 as Indiana State looks to answer. Of course, Indiana State gonna need to get Rashad Rochelle, continue to keep him involved. He is every bit of what he's been advertised here today. Offensively, Rochelle with 3 catches, but 163 yards on those 3 catches and 3 touchdowns. A 78-yard long reception as well. On first down, they go back to Patterson on the quarterback run, and there is not much there for the junior quarterback as about 3 or 4 red jerseys come flying in. Wells, Graydon Rollins, Hickey, Shaheed, all in there for John Hainline's defense. Keegan Patterson, 7 of 10 passing today for 205 yards, 3 touchdowns, and the 1 interception. He will play action on second down. Now fires near side, went up, caught by Domino. Brian Domino, the sophomore receiver from Richmond, Texas, who spent the last 2 years at UConn. On the receiving end there for Patterson. 3rd down in inches now for the Sycamores. Looking to keep the drive alive. And we will stop it maybe just to check the spot there. Now we'll go back to action. Looks like everything's appropriate. 3rd and less than 1, I would say, for Indiana State. And now we'll have another stoppage in play.
Game clock operator, please put 8:23 on the game clock. The game clock and play clock will both start under my whistle.
So you get the explanation there. Head official. Adjustment on the game clock.
Frustrating for Indiana State's offense there. You really wanted to use that tempo to get that 3rd and inches, not let Youngstown State collect themselves.
They go inside handoff on 3rd and inches. Penguins do a nice job. Not much there, but I think it's enough. And they will signal first down, Indiana State. As in there on the carry for the Sycamores was Dion Brown, a redshirt sophomore tailback, I believe, as we have some extracurricular conversations there between the Sycamores and the Penguins. Under 8 to go, 3rd quarter. Indiana State going to hustle up to the line on first down. Down by 12 here in the second half. A little toss out to Brown again. They'll fight up the sideline. Tackled by Dane Hodge, the Tulsa transfer, who's been a big piece of the Penguin defense this season, coming in with 55 total tackles ahead of today's game.
Yeah, good to see Dane Hodge in on the action there. I was talking to Coach Hainline before the game, and, you know, he said that Dane Hodge is a leader of this secondary. He puts a lot on his plate, and he had a really nice game against Southern Hill last week. So it's good to see him getting in the mix here. A little bit later than we anticipated, but expect to see more of him as this game goes on.
On 2nd and 3, handoff, and tackled immediately by Mike Wells is Nick Osho, as Wells continues to have an impact game defensively for YSU. He has gotten better and better at that new edge position they have him playing, and he brought down Osho quickly on that one. Wells, 6'2", 250-pound junior, just over the Pennsylvania line in Newcastle, has grown into a dangerous edge weapon on defense for John Hainline and the Penguins. 3rd and 3 after the
Timeout.
Tackle by Wells on Osho, and Indiana State is going to take their first timeout of the second half. We'll step aside as well. 6:35 to go third quarter. Penguins in front of the Sycamores, 38-26. Big third down here for Indiana State offensively as they trail by 12 near the midway point, past the midway point of our third quarter. Third down and 3 for the Sycamores, trying to keep the drive alive and keep pace with the high-scoring Penguins. Patterson, nothing there. Mike Wells again as he continues to wreak havoc on the Indiana State offense. Wells sacks Patterson as the knee was down, I believe, before he threw it. And Mike Wells dominating here as they fake the run, and Wells all over it, bringing Patterson down.
Great redirection by Mike Wells there to just flow with the line as it's going to the left, redirects out of it, puts his foot in the ground, sticks the quarterback.
Mike Wells now 6 tackles, 2 for loss and a sack. He has been a menace for the Penguin defense. That ball will be sent away by Harry Trom. Tomczak lets it bounce and then able to reel it in off the fair catch. And that'll take us to another timeout. Under 6 to go third quarter at Stan Boss Stadium. Penguins will have it when we come back, leading 38-26 here at Stan Boss Stadium.
Caitlin Clark from the logo.
You know, life would be easier if I could do everything from the logo.
Allow me to assist.
Pickles. It worked. Buckets. Now that's a tomato. Sheboygan.
The answer is Sheboygan.
They match. P-E-Z-O-L. Bottom row.
From the logo.
State Farm with the assist.
All right, so who knows why?
I know why. For starters, I'm getting a top-tier education without the price tag. Can you say that? Engineering, sports, music, business. I can do anything here. I'm getting my hands dirty, learning what my friends are only reading about. I'm part of something bigger here. I'm proud to bleed red and black. So yeah, I know why. It's not a question, it's the answer. Youngstown State University, know why.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like getting Bateman when you need the protection of Batman.
Easy, Batemobile, not too fast, baby.
Any last words? Just one. It's a long one. Dermatologist.
That's why you need the real deal.
Look out! That's Batman!
Go home, Bateman. Do a podcast or something.
That's hurtful.
So don't settle for just any insurance when there's State Farm.
Credit Union One, the official deposit partner of the Missouri Valley Football Conference, offers the best of everyday banking. CU1 members gain access to competitive products like high-yield checking, dedicated financial wellness resources to help you build a strong foundation for the future, and nationwide access through 24/7 digital and mobile banking and an expansive network of 130,000 ATMs from coast to coast. Discover better banking for all at cu1.com.
Back here at Stambaugh Stadium, Ethan Wright on the carry as we come out of our break. Second down for the Penguin offense as they get a stop. Mike Wild with a big sack of Keegan Patterson on the last possession, and Indiana State had the ball. Punt, and the Penguins in possession. Chance to add to their 12-point lead as we move toward the later stages of our third quarter here at Stambaugh Stadium in this Missouri Valley Football Conference matchup. Ethan Wright will take the handoff here. 2nd and 6. Powers forward, carrying defenders. First down, Youngstown State. As the Penguins try and put some distance between themselves and this scrappy Sycamore squad. Indiana State will return home next week to play their final game of the season. They'll have their senior day against Murray State at Memorial Stadium out in Terre Haute, Indiana next Saturday. Guard in the shotgun on 1st and 10. Penguins head to Northern Iowa next week, but need a win here to keep their playoff hopes alive. Brungard on the run. Throws in the area of Bray, but he couldn't bring it in. Austin Bray, the intended receiver. And again, we've called his name a lot today. The redshirt freshman nickelback, Nick Yatsko, there to break it up. Bray able to get his hands on it, but Yatsko does a nice job breaking it up, also getting a hand in there.
Not giving up on the play there, and just a well-timed swipe of the hands knocked that ball out at the last second.
2nd down and 10 for the YSU offense. Ethan Wright, the tailback, has it on the handoff, only a couple yards before he was tackled on the play by the Sycamore defender wearing number 8. That is Nathan Gonzalez, the 6'5", versatile defensive lineman from Bell Gardens, California. Gonzalez transferred from Cerritos College in California. Brungard communicates with his offense all alone in the shotgun on 3rd and 8. Sycamores need to stop here desperately. 4 minutes to go, third quarter. Brungard faces pressure, gets away from the defensive end rush, pulls it down and has positive yardage, but not enough to keep the drive alive. It'll be 4th down, and more than likely we'll see the punting unit for the Penguins, and we will. Brendan Kilpatrick will come out, send it away, and that's a huge stop for the Sycamores to stay in this game. Felt like there, if the Penguins were able to go score a touchdown, things might start to get away from Indiana State, but now they have a chance to stay right within striking distance.
Yeah, and that's what you want after an outing on offense. You know, 3 and out, big sack, defense holds them. Now you get the ball in the hands of your offense again. Hopefully shake that off, get going, get some momentum back.
Punt by Kilpatrick sends Rochelle to the 24-yard line, where he'll field it, make the fair catch, and bring his offense back out. And now Indiana State, as this game moves into the late stages of the third quarter, you got to keep pace. You got to assume Bo Brungard and the YSU offense will keep the pressure on here as this game goes along. So Indiana State, every drive as this game gets to the later stages, taking on more importance.
Yeah, we haven't seen Rashad Rochelle yet this half, so I'd expect Indiana State to try and get him the ball soon here.
Get a look at the performance that the Indiana State offense has had today. It's been far above their average as Osho takes the carry on first down. The Indiana State offense came in averaging under 290 total yards per game, and today they're over 370 against this YSU defense that on average gives up 458 plus yards per game. On second down, inside, Osho again, driven back. It was Graydon Rollins down below, and cleaning it up top, Mike Wells again in there. Rollins, the first one there, the young linebacker on this defense for John Hayline, redshirt freshman out of Elyria, Ohio. Rollins played 4 games a year ago, was able to redshirt. And these young players in this program for Doug Phillips, he's excited about the depth that this program's been able to build. 3rd and 7 facing the Indiana State offense. Need to stay on the field here. Patterson forced to roll again, and Mike Wells chases him down on the sideline. You see the speed of Wells in addition to his power. And it's going to force 4th down, and he comes up about 3 or 4 yards short of the marker.
We didn't get to see it on that replay there, but Michael Voigt is doing a nice job coming underneath, getting vertical, forcing him outside, and Michael Wells doing a good job using that sideline once again as an extra defender, not letting him get that first down.
Good to see Mike Voitish, talk about him, a veteran member of the program, leader, captain, back in there today after missing a number of games with injury on the defensive line. Tom Zach fair catches the punt from Traum. The Penguin offense will be back to work with 1:43 to go in the 3rd, leading 38-26. Let's get you an update from around the rest of the Missouri Valley Football Conference. Obviously some very impactful games in the playoff race going on today, including this one. The Penguins needing a win to stay in that hunt of at-large Missouri Valley Football Conference playoff participants that could be considered by the playoff committee. Southern Illinois has opened up a 24-14 lead at halftime in Carbondale over South Dakota. Southern Illinois pretty much have to have that one if they want to keep their playoff hopes alive. So they're up 10 at halftime there. We'll check on some other scores here in a moment as Brungard takes the first down snap and gives it to Jaden Gilbert. Short gain there on first down for the sophomore tailback Gilbert. Just getting ready to go out Brookings, South Dakota, as Illinois State and South Dakota State set to do battle. And let's get you, see if we can get an update from Murray. As early at halftime, Murray was leading North Dakota, surprisingly 9-7 in that game, as the Penguins face 2nd and 8 here. Brungard in the shotgun. Spread formation, alone in the shotgun is the junior quarterback on 2nd and 8. Brungard, quick throw, underneath, open, Austin Bray. That's a first down completion as the 6'5" tight end who caught a touchdown earlier continues to stay involved. Update from Murray, sorry Kyle. North Dakota has flipped things. They're leading Murray now on the road 21-9. So North Dakota's taking control of that one. And we're about a half hour from kickoff in Brookings and about an hour from kick in Fargo, as North Dakota State will host Northern Iowa later tonight. Penguins up 12 here. New set of downs as we are in, we'll see what could be the final play of the 3rd quarter. Fake run to Gilbert. Brungard keeps it, gets outside, got a block from Hensley, has a first down up the sideline and gets cut down out of bounds by Clark. And here comes the marker, and I thought that might be the case. Seemed a little late on Clark upending Brungard out of bounds, and Clark not happy about it, but it just felt like that was a step late, and they're going to protect quarterbacks, and Clark sharing his opinion, but we'll
after the play's over.
Check the call here.
Late hit out of bounds. Defense number 5. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
So Clark, who's one of the best in the nation in his position. Brungard, you see, Brungard gives himself up there. I don't know, Kyle. You play defense.
It's always hard, right? Like you want to make sure that the quarterback is truly going out of bounds. Kamal Clark took his eyes off of Bo. You got to see what you're hitting, right? So when he takes his eyes off Bo. It looked like he could have cut in, but he ended up giving himself out.
And so the penalty will set up the Penguins deep in Indiana State territory. When we come back, 38-26. Penguins lead the Sycamores here in Missouri Valley Football Conference action. Fourth quarter when we come back. Missouri Valley Football Conference action is brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. We are back here at the Ice Castle. Let's get a look at some of the offices and great facilities that are part of the Youngstown State football program here in Youngstown. Proud history, championship tradition. And the Penguins trying to get back to the playoffs. Need a win today. Brungard in the shotgun. His team leading by 12 as we begin the fourth quarter. Brungard going to throw again. Flash Wilson catches it near the sideline and wrestled out of bounds. And again, that's Kamal Clark on the tackle. But a big gain down in the red zone are the Penguins as they look to start to try and pull away here early in the fourth quarter of this Missouri Valley Football Conference contest.
Yeah, no, you're good. You think that Flash Wilson is a player that you want to key on, and it just looks like Indiana State's defense lost him in space there.
Flash Wilson, 5 catches, 53 yards and a touchdown today. Jaden Gilbert is the tailback with Brungard. He'll take the handoff and be met immediately. And the first there on the nice form tackle was C.J. Davis, number 7 for Indiana State, the redshirt sophomore defensive back from Fort Wayne, Indiana, transfer from Marshall, who played this nicely.
Indiana State's done a nice job in the second quarter, second half here. Just bottling up our running backs and to limit the damage on the ground outside of Bo Brungard.
Sets up 2nd and 9 after the 1-yard gain on the handoff to J.D. Gilbert. Doug Phillips hustling up the sideline. Thought he might call a timeout. Ball will be snapped. Brungard fires quickly down to the 5-yard line. Wilson again on the receiving end. Brought down right around the 5-yard line as Brungard with some velocity on that throw to Flash Wilson. Wilson, 6th catch for the junior wide receiver from nearby Farrell, Pennsylvania. Sets up 3rd and 1. Got to get to the 4 for a new set of downs. Couple minutes into our 4th quarter. Penguins knocking on the door. Brungard, pump fake, now pulls it down. Now, wow, what a play from Bo Brungard. How did he see Austin Bray? He was being tackled and able to turn his body and throw it to the opposite far side to Bray for the touchdown.
Hey, I don't think that we have given any credit to the strength and conditioning staff at YSU. That is the weight room right there, folks.
Brungard with defenders hanging on him, able to see Bray wiggle loose over on the other side of the formation, and Brungard connects with him for the 2nd time today. What a return for the tight end Austin Bray, his 2nd receiving touchdown in his 1st game back in a couple months after missing 7 games due to injury. And the Penguins now starting to put a little breathing room between themselves and Indiana State. It's 45-26 after the extra point from Lustavka. We'll take a break here early 4th quarter. Penguins in control, leading the Sycamores now 26. Indiana State will look to answer when we come back.
Caitlin Clark from the logo.
You know, life would be easier if I could do everything from the logo.
Allow me to assist.
Pickles. It worked! Buckets. Now that's a tomato. Sheboygan.
The answer is Sheboygan.
They match. P-E-Z-O-L. Bottom row.
From the logo. State Farm with the assist.
All right, so who knows why?
I know why. For starters, I'm getting a top-tier education without the price tag. Can you say that? Engineering, sports, music, business. I can do anything here. I'm getting my hands dirty, learning what my friends are only reading about. I'm part of something bigger here. I'm proud to bleed red and black. So yeah, I know why. It's not a question. It's the answer. Youngstown State University. Know why.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like getting Bateman when you need the protection of Batman.
Easy, Batemobile, not too fast, baby.
Any last words? Just one. It's a long one. Dermatologist.
That's why you need the real deal.
Look out! That's Batman! Go home, Bateman. Do a podcast or something.
That's hurtful.
So don't settle for just any insurance when there's State Farm.
Credit Union One, the official deposit partner of the Missouri Valley Football Conference, offers the best of everyday banking. CU1 members gain access to competitive products like high-yield checking, dedicated financial wellness resources to help you build a strong foundation for the future, and nationwide access through 24/7 digital and mobile banking and an expansive network of 130,000 ATMs from coast to coast. Discover better banking for all at cu1.com.
Dre Smith, Kyle Searle, and our entire crew with you back in Youngstown, where Bo Brungard continues his assault on Missouri Valley Football Conference defenses in 2025. He is now 21 of 28 passing, 241 yards, and 3 touchdowns after he hit Austin Bray on a 5-yard connection. 7-play drive, 79 yards. Almost 4 minutes, and the Penguins extend their lead on the touchdown. Brungard to Bray, now leading 45-26. Penguins have outscored Indiana State here 14-0 over the last quarter and couple minutes here in the second half to take control, and now Rochelle back deep will fair catch the kickoff, and Indiana State desperately needing a drive to keep hope alive here as they are now down double digits and multiple scores. Rochelle's had a tremendous day, but the defense of YSU has keyed on him here in the second half, as Rochelle has yet to have a reception in the second half after having 3 receiving touchdowns on 3 catches, 163 yards on those catches in the first half.
And only 1 target.
It's been an effort to shut him down. Handoff goes to Dion Brown on first down for the Sycamores, and a lot of room for him to run. And he will knife all the way out to the 36-yard line for a first down run for the Sycamores. Brown and Osho have carried the load. We've not seen Ples Lawrence today. Another talented tailback for the Sycamores. Another outside run, stiff arm. Good strong run again from Dion Brown. Gets out near the 45. They'll mark him shy of the 45. But a gain of about 8 on first down. And the run game with Brown working here to start the drive.
Yeah, and only a sophomore, so he's going to have himself a nice career. And Coach Mallory's done a good job of getting in some talented guys at the skill positions there.
Patterson puts it in the tailback's belly, pulls it out on the play action, and fires it complete to Singleton. 6'1" redshirt freshman who comes across the middle to complete it and get a first down for his team. Clock moving toward 11.5 left to go. Penguins trying to get to the finish line and have 1 game remaining next week, and a win at Northern Iowa. If they can hold on here, they will be in the FCS playoffs. Patterson spins out near side, and just nothing there. Mike Wells again flying toward Patterson, shoves him into the sideline after he let go of the football. Incomplete, second downs. Check Wells' stats today, as he has had even the plays where he's not recording statistics, he's making an impact there. He might get the hurry there, as he gets 8 tackles, 2 for loss, and a couple of sacks. 2.5 sacks, 8 tackles for Wells. Patterson nearly was sacked. Nick Bowser got a hand on him. He able to get up to the 45 before Michael Voitis brings him down, but a marker on the play. Have to check that. Penguins shaken up behind the play as well.
Holding offense, number 67. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Remains second down.
Yeah, Dre. And you talk about those stats that aren't necessarily recorded. You know, you have the truth and you have the facts. The facts are the stats, and the truth is, you know, the hurries and the things that go unrecorded that really result in the play success or not success, you know, depending on what side of the ball you're on.
2nd and 20 for Indiana State now, after the holding call against the right guard Jordan Salofa-Fatu, the San Francisco, California native, junior. Backs up the Sycamores. Patterson will play fake. Wells again coming in, providing pressure and hitting Patterson. He's able to get it out to Singleton on the sideline and move it up past the original line of scrimmage, and a 3rd down facing the Sycamores here under 11 to go.
Give it up to Patterson for keeping his feet set, throwing the ball, knowing that he was going to get hit there.
Wells, 250-pound junior edge, bearing down on Patterson, but he hung in there and found Singleton to give his offense a fighting chance here on 3rd down and 7 from the YSU 41-yard line. You look at Wells, who continues to wreak havoc. The Penguin defense. Patterson, Marshall come flying off the edge. Patterson able to get around him. Steps into a throw downfield, and coming back to make the catch down near the 10-yard line is Rashad Rochelle. Rochelle, we said they hadn't really targeted him or got him involved much in the second half. He makes a big play there to help the Sycamores get in the red zone.
A little bit of a bad angle or over pursuit there, and then causes Patterson to roll out there, get his throw to the playmaker Rashad Rochelle that we've talked about pregame. Not so much this second half, but it's good.
Handoff here, 1st and goal, Brown. Penguins can't get there, and we're gonna get a marker. This might be coming back. I think we might get a hold on the edge as Dion Brown was trying to get outside toward the end zone. As the Sycamore offensive line starts to make their way back. As this one looks to be against the visitors.
Block in the back. Offense number 8. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Remains 1st down.
So get the Sycamores on an illegal block in the back. Hard to be mad at Rochelle as he taps himself on the chest there. And see it, the penalty yardage has been less than ideal if you're Kurt Mallory, as they have done a pretty good job all year limiting penalties. They came into today averaging just over 4 penalties per game, only 30-plus yards of penalty yardage every contest, but today 70 yards in penalties. Patterson, play fake after they're backed up, throws it out to Sioka, the redshirt junior tight end, brings it in but couldn't keep his footing. Not really much of a gain there for the Sycamores. 2nd and goal. We go under 9.5 to play at Stambaugh Stadium. Final home game of the regular season for YSU. Never know. They're able to win here today, and next week there could be one more game in the FCS playoffs. At least one more here at Stambaugh Stadium. We'll have to wait and see how that all plays out, of course. Final weeks of our regular season. Rochelle crosses the formation in motion on 2nd and goal. Patterson gets into the throw near side, and it's well out of the reach of the intended receiver for the Sycamores, as the freshman defensive back Sturzinger was in coverage. And we have a late marker here that we'll check. The intended receiver on that play for Indiana State was Talon White, the true freshman from Chicago. Our crew comes together to sort this out with under 9 left to play.
After the play's over. Flagrant, unsportsmanlike conduct. Youngstown State, number 8. He has been ejected from the game. The penalty enforced half the distance to the goal from the previous spot. Automatic, 1st down.
So a flagrant unsportsmanlike penalty and an ejection. I heard 8 there, right, Kyle? Cameron Cunningham.
Yeah.
The guilty party for the Penguins, the 6'3", 305-pound junior defensive tackle from Kalamazoo, Michigan, who transferred in this year from Fayetteville State to YSU. That is not what you're looking for if you're Doug Phillips here, leading late, trying to put a big game away late in the year. Get one of your starting defensive tackles ejected here. The Penguins will, and a new set of downs for Indiana State. They'll toss it out to Dion Brown, and guess who's there on the defensive end? Mike Wells continues to be a monster at that edge position for the Penguins. Wells up to 9 tackles, 3.5 for loss. Brown just nowhere to go.
Dane Hodgin with the assist, and you know, talking about that penalty there, that is so frustrating. You know, for your team. Not only do you lose him for the rest of this game, you lose him for the first half of next week.
So Patterson can stand in there, fires toward the end zone as he surveys, but it's way high. And Singleton was the closest receiver in the area. Shaid in coverage for YSU. So we'll stop the clock with 8:13 to go. It'll be 3rd and goal for the Sycamores, desperately trying to get back on the scoreboard here so they can have a fighting chance to stay in this one for the last 8 minutes. Field goal doesn't really do much for you here. You gotta think touchdowns as we get to the late stages here. If you're Kurt Mallory and Indiana State. Kurt Mallory, 2 brothers in the coaching ranks as well. He's the Missouri Valley Coach of the Year in 2018. Took Indiana State from 0-11 to 7-4. Patterson going down, and I think it's Wells again, and it is Mike Wells. 3.5 sacks for the junior from Newcastle, Pennsylvania. He's unblockable right now for the Sycamores. Forces 4th down, and they will send out the field goal unit, and it does make it a 16-point game, so you still have some hope. But Mike Wells right now, unstoppable from that edge spot. Played linebacker a year ago as a sophomore in his first real playing time as a Penguin. And then you can speak to this, Kyle. You played that DN edge kind of hybrid a little bit too. I mean, what does that do when they move, help adjust his position, give him some different opportunities?
Yeah, well, it gives him opportunities outside of just one position there, and then it causes Indiana State to have to really key him and figure out what he's going to do from where he's at. And unfortunately,
and we'll pause that thought. We'll pick it up when we come back. 7:13 left to go. The field goal from 38 yards from Sebastian Lopez is good. 45-29. YSU in front. Back after this. Kurt Mallory's team went on a 13-play, 55-yard drive that covered 5 minutes, 42 seconds. 38-yard field goal from Sebastian Lopez capped it off to make it a 16-point game to keep Indiana State with a little bit of hope here with over 7 to go. 2 scores, 2-point conversions.
Youngstown, they're first to the
tie it up. We're going to go back to timeout. 7:13 to go in Youngstown. Penguins still lead 45-29. We'll be back with more fourth quarter action in Youngstown. get a look inside Stan Boss Stadium, the equipment locker room area here in Youngstown. So much work goes on behind the scenes for these programs. Youngstown State's equipment staff does such hard work week in, week out for this Penguin football program. And here's an onside kick attempt for Indiana State. Might as well. Here trying to get an extra possession. They bounce it over to the far side, and the Penguins are all over.
On the game clock, 7 minutes and 12 seconds.
So the Penguins will have it. First down after recovering the little sneak onside kick attempt from the Sycamores. And now the Penguins, with a score on this drive, could pretty much put this away more than likely with over 7 to go, leading by 16. Bo Brungard, who we talked about in our open as one of the most electrifying players in the country at the FCS level, has lived up to it again today as he continues, set a Missouri Valley Football Conference record for rushing touchdowns by a quarterback today. And on first down, he's going to fake to right, and a swarm of white jerseys, and Brungard makes the right decision for his offense and just goes down, takes the sack, lives to fight another down there. 7 minutes to go. And there is a look at the most rushing yards by a quarterback single season history in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. Aaron Bailey holds a lot of those records, the former UNI signal callers. He ran for over 1,300 yards in 2015. And then Bo Brungard already third on that list behind a couple UNI Panthers. Passing Trey Lance, North Dakota State. Starting to make his mark felt, not only at Youngstown State, but on the conference level as well. 6.5 on our fourth quarter clock in Youngstown. Penguins want to use every bit of it here. On 2nd and 12, they're going to keep it on the ground. Ethan Wright, and the Sycamores, expecting it, will tackle him for a loss. And one of the first men there was Nathan Gonzalez, the junior defensive end.
Indiana State
had some help as well from a couple teammates.
This will be a 30-second timeout. Please put 6:21 on the game clock. 6:21.
And after that tackle for loss by the Sycamores, it'll be timeout. Indiana State, as they need to try to get this football back. 3rd and 12. Be a good opportunity for Indiana State to try and get off the field and get that ball back to their offense. Penguins just trying to take care of it. Play fundamental here. 6:21 to go, trying to bring home another hard-fought win in this conference.
Yeah, you're in a 4-minute drill here, Dre, and there's 6:21 on the clock. You're trying to run it out, and the Penguins have dominated the time of possession all year, and looking to do that here. Indiana State's playing tough to try and get the ball back for their offense.
Each team with over 23 minutes of possession time with the ball today. 3rd and 12, Brungard will safe throw into the flat for Ethan Wright. Gets by the defender initially, cuts up field, and he's going to be brought down just shy of the first down marker.
Timeout, Indiana.
I believe Indiana State will take a timeout.
This will be a 30-second timeout. Game clock operator, please put 6:11 on the game clock. 6 minutes, 11 seconds.
Just over 6 minutes on the fourth quarter game clock. 4th down and about a full yard for the Penguins here. And Kyle, what's your move here if you're Doug Phillips?
You know, this is no man's land. Too far to kick a field goal, a little tight to punt. You know, I think the Penguins have been running the ball pretty well all day. I would expect to see the offense out here try and pick up that first down, continue to chew clock.
You are correct.
Youngstown State is challenging the ruling on the field that the runner is short of the line to gain. That play will be under further review.
So now we will go to review. So Doug Phillips wants them to take a look at the spot. It was Ethan Wright who caught the football on the flat near side and worked up field. And Doug Phillips probably feels like, hey, if this is a first down, that's a major change from 4th and 1. It keeps the drive alive, keeps the clock moving, and could be a big difference between 4th and 1 and a first down late in this game. And I think Doug is trying to say that maybe he wasn't down on that initial spin to the ground, and that ball should have been spotted a little bit more toward the 40-yard line.
The ruling on the field of the runner being short of the line to gain is upheld. Youngstown State will be charged a timeout, and they will lose their only challenge of the game. It'll be 4th down.
You know, in a spot like this, whether you think it's close or not, maybe a missed challenge isn't too bad. You give your offense a little bit more time to collect their thoughts and get another play drawn up.
So the offense will stay on the field as Kyle expected. For Doug Phillips, OC Mike Yursich, see what they dial up to try and possibly put this one away with a 1st down here. Tom Zach, the man in motion. Brungard, sprint lag, throw to Tom Zach. Lot of room, great call, great execution for the YSU offense. Tom Zach down inside the 30, big conversion, and now the Penguins can really put the Sycamores in a tough spot with 6 minutes to go.
Yeah, good play call. Get Bo running. You know, it's kind of like a built-in RPO when you get him out on a boot like that, because if it's open, you can take off and get that 1st down easily. If not, throw it to the open man like he did.
7 catches, 109 yards for the senior preseason All-American, 1st team All-Missouri Valley selection a year ago, Max Tomczak. It's 1st down for the Penguins. We're on a moving 4th quarter clock that's now under 5.5. And the Penguins will use every bit of that play clock as it goes down to 2 before the snap. Handoff, Ethan Wright runs through an opponent, a teammate, and still fighting all the way upfield. Sycamores desperately trying to rip that football out of Wright's hands, but the senior does a nice job holding on to it and getting down to the 25-yard line, where we 2nd down and intermediate for the Penguin offense. Marching closer to win number 7 on the year for the Penguins. Penguins trying to get to 7-4 overall, 4-3 in the league. And Doug Phillips feels like if they can win this game, go to Northern Iowa, be successful next week at 8-4 and 5-3 in the league, you're not getting denied by the playoff committee at that point. 2nd and 5. They motion Brungard out wide and let Ethan Wright take the Wildcat direct snap, and he will run near side inside the 25. Yatsko, one of the Sycamores, there to bring him down. It'll be 3rd and about 4 or 5. Under 4.5 to play. The Penguins now will try and convert a 3rd down on the day. YSU 5 of 11 converting 3rd downs on the season. Coming into today, Mike Yursich's offense was converting 3rd downs at an impressive 47% clip for the year. 3rd and 5. 4 minutes to go. Brungard in there with Gilbert on his left hip. Bray is the tight end in the wing position near side. Handoff goes to Gilbert, and he's swallowed up initially, spins out of the initial contact, able to get back near the line of scrimmage before being wrestled down. Rose in there on the tackle along with Wilson and Gajewski. There'll be another 4th down for YSU. Clock moving to 3.5 in the 4th quarter. For the moment, Doug Phillips keeping his offense out there, but I think he might be working this play and game clock all the way down and maybe take a timeout as the offense kind of stands and looks at the sideline. Play clock under 10. It's 4th and 4, and I do think that's what Doug will do. And
timeout.
he will burn that timeout with the near side official.
This will be a 30-second timeout.
Keep it right here with 4th and 4 facing the Penguins. 3:05 to go. Appreciate everybody tuning in with us here today in Youngstown.
That is Youngstown State's 3rd and final timeout of the half.
So both teams now out of timeouts with 3:05 left to go. Touchdown here for the Penguins. They're able to keep this drive alive on 4th down if they do send the offense out, and they will not. It looks like the place kicker Andrew Listowka will jog onto the field. On the day, the junior kicker is 1 of 2. As he was good from 39, missed a 38-yard attempt on his first attempt of the day. Listowka, who was the National Special Teams Player of the Week earlier this year after hitting a walk-off game winner at Towson. win there on September 20th. Kick out of the hold of Kilpatrick. The experienced long snapper Byron Floyd sends it back. Listowka's kick is true as the junior hits a big one here with 3 minutes to go, and that might put it out of reach for Indiana State. And Listowka, who had missed 2 in a row dating back to last week after missing his first attempt today, nails his final 2 attempts more than likely today. Good response there from your junior kicker after a couple misses that you're not used to. He's been very reliable for the Penguins.
Yeah, and it's good to see that hit on him earlier didn't affect it. So, like I said, that could, the way that the big first half went, back and forth, if a field goal came down to it, would it affect him? Clearly hasn't.
Listowka took a big shot on a late hit on the kicker early in the game. We talked about it. Specialists, they don't take too many tackles if they don't have to. And, but tough guy, Listowka. He's a Penguin. He's a gritty Penguin, and he's no worse for the wear. Hits a couple big field goals, and now it's 48-29. YSU on the way, possibly to victory here with 3 minutes to go. 8-play, 27-yard drive, and over 4 minutes, capped off by the 42-yard field goal from Andrew Listowka. And now the kickoff specialist, Josh Wilkins, the redshirt freshman who's handled those duties all year for the Penguins at Bessemer, Pennsylvania, Mohawk High School, will send it away, and he will send this one deep. Got a couple shorter kickoffs. This one goes deep. Rochelle will let it bounce right at the goal line and go through the end zone, and the Indiana State offense will come back out with 3 minutes to play, trailing 48-29. And recap the stats for you offensively. Patterson today, in his 9th game of the season, the starter after their initial starter to begin the year, Elijah Owens, suffered an injury in the 2nd game of the year. Patterson 12 of 18 today, passing 274 yards, 3 touchdowns, as well as an interception. And he's also ran it 11 times, but only 8 yards due to the sack yardage. Patterson on first down, slings it quickly near side to Singleton, the redshirt freshman receiver who's had a nice day for the Sycamores. 6th catch, over 80 yards for Singleton. And obviously, Sycamores must move quickly here to try and get back on the scoreboard to keep any hope alive with 3 minutes to play. Play action. They'll hand it off. Go to the run game. Osho once again, nothing doing. Colin Vaughn in there on the tackle along with Stephen Henderson. Some of these young defenders have had to be pressed into duty due to the injuries for the Penguins on the defensive line. Colin Vaughn back in there today, the Utah State transfer senior defensive tackle. Good to have him back in the lineup for Doug Phillips today. Patterson runs out right, throws it along the sideline, and that is going to be caught. And the Sycamores may not win this game, but Rashad Rochelle has proven himself as quite the prospect and player here today. That's a great catch on the sideline.
That's a phenomenal catch and a great off-balance throw again. And it seems like he just cannot
the 2-minute timeout.
Get his feet set to throw because the Penguins have been pressuring him all day.
And Patterson, good throw over to Rochelle, who continues to impress. 48-29 though, Penguins in front, 2 minutes to go. We'll be back after this. 2 minutes remain today here at Stambaugh Stadium in our contest between number 19, Youngstown State, and Indiana State. Sycamores with the football, although this one does look a bit out of reach here in the final 2 minutes. And Patterson going to throw again. Why not throw it to that guy? Rashad Rochelle continues to add to his impressive season. And I talked about it, Kyle. It's like, you know where the ball's going, but he still gets open and makes plays. He's got a chance on Sundays, I think. He runs great routes, always catches the ball, and he is dynamic. Patterson going to go back toward him, and that time he made a business decision as Dathan Hickey was closing in for a possible big hit. Rochelle slowed up as he wasn't going to get to that football.
Yeah, trying to get a second toe tap in would have been tough on that throw there. Or as the kids call it today, head tapping. I don't know. That's what my 7th graders tell me.
I hear a lot of this 6'7", there's all kinds of stuff. I can't keep up with it, Kyle. All right, a lot of pressure here as the Penguins look to be bringing it, and they do. Patterson is brought down, and Grayton Rollins is going to get the sack, the redshirt freshman linebacker, as the Penguins are putting the finishing touches on what's going to be their 7th win of the year. Grayton Rollins, promising linebacker, gets his 2nd sack of the season. Under 1.5 minutes to play, Sycamores facing 3rd and long. Patterson, quick fake, steps up with pressure on it, throws incomplete, intended for Brian Domino, and now it's 4th and long with 1:15 left to go.
And you know, Dre, the Penguins have a young group out there, and talking to Coach Hanline, he wanted an opportunity to get some young guys some reps. And this is a perfect situation. In a 2-minute drill, like you said, we've been talking about defensive linemen being banged up. This is the best way to do it. You can't replicate practice.
Got some young guys in there. Had some young players step up in that win late at Southern Illinois, or against Southern Illinois here last week. Patterson going to sling it out toward Osho in the flat on 4th down. He can't bring it in. So that'll be a turnover on downs, and that gives us a chance to name tonight's Impact Player of the Game, sponsored by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and you know, it's easy to go. Our 2 offensive players were great. Brungard was electric again. Rochelle was so impressive, but we're going to go with edge linebacker, defensive end from Newcastle, Pennsylvania for Youngstown State, Mike Wells. Michael Wells, 10 tackles, 3.5 sacks, 4 tackles for loss, career highs across the board for the junior pass rusher, Michael Wells, who gets some love from his teammates, and he has become a key member of the defense, and he had an impressive effort to help hold Indiana State to just 3 points in the 2nd half, while the Penguins scored 17. After being up 5 at the intermission, they pull away as Bo Brungard will come in to take a knee and run this clock down. The Penguins will improve to 7-4 overall and win their 2nd straight game. They will be 4-3 in Missouri Valley Football Conference action with 1 game left in the regular season next week at Northern Iowa. And the Penguins will be, again, in must-win mode out in Cedar Falls, Iowa next week. And that is a place that the Penguins have not won since the late 90s when Jim Tressel was leading this program. It'll be a big message from Doug Phillips and his squad that needs to end next Saturday in Cedar Falls. Indiana State, meanwhile, with the loss, falls to 3-8 overall, 1-6 in Missouri Valley Football Conference action. They'll be at home next week for their senior day to host Murray State, 1 o'clock Eastern in Terre Haute, Indiana. The Penguins, as we mentioned, will be at Northern Iowa in Cedar Falls for a 2 p.m. Eastern kick at the Unidome. Bo Brungard, electric again for the Penguins. 23 of 30, 264 passing, 3 touchdowns, and he also ran for 90 yards and 3 scores. Just 6 total touchdowns on another casual day for Bo Brungard. Rochelle, again, amazing for Indiana State. Final thoughts, Kyle, as we get out of here from Stambaugh Stadium today.
Hey, I think that Bo is continuing to produce, and you know, the Walter Payton, you know, campaign is strong and steady going into the final game of the year.
Great to be with you today, Kyle. I want to thank our entire crew, everybody back on the other end, all of our camera operators, audio technicians, everybody involved in this broadcast. We appreciate it. Final score from Youngstown State, once again, 48-29. Penguins out Duel the Sycamores. For Kyle Searle and our entire crew, I'm Dre Smith saying so long from Stan Boss Stadium in Youngstown, Ohio, where our final score, one final tie, Youngstown State 48, Indiana State 29. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Thanks so much again for being with us, and have a great rest of your weekend, everyone.